Pokemon track here is Rivers by actually do River by Parkway Drive, my bad. Uh, I love this track. It's one of my favourite Parkway Drive songs. There's a lot of great tracks in the Parkway Drive catalogue. And weirdly enough, it's quite, I don't know, not punk sound, it's emotional, maybe like rock, blues. It's one of the most emotional songs there is. And the meaning as well, I think, is pretty emotional. Let me look it up quickly. Drive, over the lyrics. It's quite heavy, and that's what I fucking love about it too. Like, follow your heart into the water, fill your pockets with stone, throw your arms around me, never let go. Fucking poetry. It's so fucking good. I just love the guitar arrangements in this. Honestly, one of the biggest appeals for me with Parkway Drive. Anyway, the verse, you were the first, you won't be the last. All the river took, we can never replace. And as the pain set in, so did the realization, you're never coming home. For the nights we lay awake, wishing for answers, hoping against all hope. And if love could change, of course, the fate, these nights we moved mountains. But as the news filtered down the line, the impact shook us to the core. Loss struck like a dagger in our aching hearts. So follow your heart to the water, faithful cuts of stone. And then there's a bridge later, it's changed the lyrics up. It's not the years in your life. Old soul, so it said, the day we lost, it's the day I found regret. Not in the waters that embraced you, but in the wake of your absence left, sinking to me, sinking to me. So yeah, I wonder what it means actually. I'm curious. Song is about death, yeah, I sort of figured that. Narrative passing of a close friend of the band who went through this during this time. Gospel vocals here, a record of song as the character of Diff. Okay. I wanted it to be beautiful. Yeah, I can see that. Death is something that most people fear, and yet it is a constant in this life. We fear it because we don't know anything else but life. Death is the ultimate question, but it's the ultimate release. Also, the ultimate release. Every person I've lost in this life, I feel grateful for having known, but no one lives in vain. How do we judge our lives? A friend once told me, it's not the years in your life, it's the life in your years. And life and death are what you make of them. Yeah, fucking hell. It's really heavy. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Like, even Austin knowing this is just, wow. And also that last statement, the friends told him, not the years in your life, it's the life in your years. Yeah, that's pretty much what life is about though. It's about the journey and everything you do along the way. I definitely haven't had the happiest life, but I'll try. It's pretty much more important than most other things. Yeah, this track compositionally really hits that, it nails it. It's a really emotional track and obviously beautiful. I just love that they managed to translate it to metal. Just insane. There's a bit of a solo at the end. Yeah, it is so fucking good. Um, Jesus, I might have to share that with people. I don't know. Yeah, it's one of my favourite tracks of all time. It literally is. A lot of Parkway Drive is, but this in particular. Yeah. Uh, doesn't exactly hit close to home at the moment. I have had loss, like some family. So I've had pets as well. They do hit hard too. Yeah. Don't know what else to say. It's just a fucking amazing track. And why don't you listen to Parkway Drive? Tell me. Yeah, so that's like a crazy topic. I really do not understand why it's a thing. For fuck's sake, people, nobody is a superhero. Not even Toby Fox. So also I'm talking about that. Deltarune and maybe Undertale, was it? Undertale as well. There's a controversy, I don't know the full specifics on it, I've just seen a short on it and the subreddit obviously is on fire. It's about the Toby Fox basically not translating in other languages for Deltarune, and it's specifically the Latin American community who apparently don't like it, which is very strange because, well, if anyone had done any research on Toby Fox, you would know he speaks English and Japanese. I'll say speaks, but I haven't really heard him speak much. But he definitely knows both, and that's why he translates the games in Japanese as well. Because he knows the language. And I think that's really important to note, because that literally changes everything. There's only so much he can do to begin with, just from this alone. So I really do not understand the logic from the Latin American community, where they think he can do all of it. It's just in Latin America. Like, what? It is so fucking scummy and garbage that people react like this. I genuinely don't understand it. This is a serious thing as well. It's a serious sort of ask to have. And I don't get the backlash. It is so weird. I think a lot of people cyber Toby in this, and I do too. But he's a fucking indie developer, not a AAA game studio. And the popularity of this indie game, it is indie games for that matter. Like, obviously, he doesn't have to translate them to every other language. Yes, it's popular, but no, he doesn't have to. And I think it's better to perhaps rely on fan translations. I'm not sure if he mentioned that. I think he did, actually. I think about the posts that I saw in that short. But a fan translation is probably going to be as good as you're going to get, and will allow you to enjoy that. Enjoy the game. So there's no problem with it, I don't think, as far as the fan translation goes. But you can't be accusing someone of not translating of being like racist or like what else can you call them? Because I just can't wrap my head around why you would criticise someone for this. I can't even speak another fucking language, so like imagine me making an indie game being asked that. The answer would be no. I think if you like the game enough, you should translate it the way that you can. The way you would translate things usually. Honestly, props to people who translate, and that is technically something I would be happy to support. If I was an indie developer, I would actually hire people to translate for me, even on like just an off task. So that's something that can be like contracted, I guess. But that's better than obviously what's going on here. I don't know if there is action taken or even like fan translations. But I can understand why obviously Toby himself won't do it. It's just we need to find someone to do it. And that's a task. I'd do the same if there was demand for that. But either way, it's one of those situations, it's just fucking nonsense as usual. As if Deltarune has mainly been clean, hasn't it? It hasn't really been controversial in many ways, as far as I know, over the years. The only thing I really remember was when James Stephanie Sterling, is that their name? Can't remember. But when they were making a video on this, like a controversy about the essentially releasing it too early, releasing this video review of it way too early, and I just thought, well, why give the game to begin with? Like, why are you doing that, Toby? Unless this was just like stirred up or just dramatised, I don't know if what was real or not. That's like the only thing I heard about it before. And also the community as well. Fuck, I forgot about the community. The way that they treat popular YouTubers who play it. It's just gross. Like, you don't have to play a game the way that the community fucking wants you to. That's ridiculous. Like, you're kidding me. I just do not get that in the slightest. It's so bizarre. Anyway, I better move on. I've got to react to the music, actually, that I've got queued up. So, yeah. Ah, Christ. That's one of these again. I'm gonna have to respond to this because it's bothering me. But the post is about a Christian mother, apparently. What? Is it a Christian mum group or something? I didn't even notice that. Anonymous member, yeah, so it's a group, Facebook apparently. It's shared to all social autism. It's about an autistic kid who's basically questioning a bunch of things, and I think I have to agree with the top comment here. I will read it out and respond. The top comment on this post, this Reddit post, is pretty agreeable. It's the fact that this parent doesn't act her age, it's quite immature. And yeah, it's very common to see among people who are just outright bigoted and just spout absolute bullshit all the time. But I have to respond to each point individually and explain everything. So yeah, I'll do it to the best of my ability, obviously, and also I'm open to be proven wrong. It just depends if there is anything. So let's start. The post starts with, I keep praying for my autistic 11-year-old who's saying she's bisexual and non-binary and now believes in other gods as well as the only god. Yeah, let's respond to that. So, saying she's bisexual and non-binary, you know, that happens. I knew since I was 8 years old that I had a physical attraction towards guys. Well, obviously boys at that age, but so as I've grown up, it's been towards guys. And it happens. I didn't have any LGBTQ plus exposure or understanding in school, and yet I still realise that. So for someone to say that they're bisexual, especially a child, it's not unusual. There's no cause for alarm at all. There's literally nothing here to raise any alarm bells. Because at the end of the day, if someone is saying they're bisexual and can also prove it, then I think they have obviously made a point. They should be able to, you know, stay within that. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. As for non-binary, it ultimately depends on your reasoning, because I think there are irrational reasons, but other times there are rational reasons, and maybe it's just a preference thing. They just don't want to fucking associate, and that's fair enough. So non-binary as a gender is not a problem. And then believing in other gods, well, this is the world you created, because that is what God is. God is a creation by humans. It's not provable, as far as I know. I haven't seen anything to lead to believe that it is a god. And this is through the lens of someone who's unbiased and constantly looking for truth, looking for evidence of anything really. So it does matter how and if we prove these things. So that's that thing really. But anyway, the post continues. We've always said it's a sin, but in a very loving way, never hateful or judgmental. She's very disrespectful and Define acts like she doesn't have to listen to us. I've even put her in therapy for Define issues. Yikes. I have to respond to that. So, yeah, you always say it's a sin, but is it? Because the last I checked, in terms of religion, there is no such thing as a bloody sin for your sexuality, because one, it didn't really exist like 2,000 odd years ago, and two, it is probably not a sin anyway, because if we are born with this in our nature to be attracted to someone else of the opposite gender, then it stands to reason that we were meant to. Like, think about that, because that's how it works. You are either born or develop into this, and you can't control that. Like with mine, I didn't even know I was into that until I discovered more sort of sexual sides to my body as a child. And started to realise things. I started to make out that, holy shit, I do actually like ice. So that's how that happened. And it's part of nature. It's not a sin. And if it is a sin somehow, then God's got a lot to answer for. It has to be said. But that's this other thing. Put her in therapy for defiant issues. And disrespect, apparently. Every kid acts like that, especially at that age. They are going to be defiant and disrespectful as well. Especially if you harm them, especially if you treat them wrong. They are going to do that. It happened in my childhood with my not so nice father at the time, and it's affected me a lot in a negative way. It's been traumatising. So that's why you end up being defiant. You end up wanting to eliminate the hardships and the problems that come along with it. There's so many things that go wrong here, which is basically what I'm saying. But anyway, therapy though, is it a type of therapy that's for autism? Because let's not forget, there was a mention that this kid was autistic, so again, is it specialised for that? Because it's not going to be effective if it isn't. So I do have to question whether you actually have the best intentions for your child, given this. But it doesn't seem not. Doesn't seem like there is a bit. And then they say, the post, no matter what she says, she's just rude and doesn't care. What we say, she says, yeah. It's not really. The thing is, it's ruder to say no to someone than it is to fucking come out of someone and hope for acceptance. I don't know how to word this exactly, but again, the problem here is just you don't understand your child, and you don't even understand the basic laws of truth and the world, for that matter. I say laws of truth, but basic truth. That's all it is. You seem to not understand that, and also don't want to address your religion, which it would be important to, given the context of this topic. And it's clear that you don't understand your religion because you don't actually know that there is no such thing as a sin involving sexuality or gender. So there is no sin. It's essentially something made up in your head. The fucking idiots. Like, it doesn't even take someone even relatively stupid to figure that out. Yeah, here we are. It's just mind-numbing. But anyway, and they go on to say, we obviously love her no matter what, but we don't agree with what she's doing. So, do I respond to that? It's not what she's doing, that's the thing. You think this is a choice. You're implying it's a choice, but there is no fucking choice here except for the beliefs. The belief is obviously with other gods. It doesn't matter what religion she's prescribing to, as long as she's not harming anyone else. It's fine. And it's not even a sin. So, as far as I know, it's not really a problem. Yeah, she's not doing anything wrong. You can't change bisexuality, it's in your nature. You can't change non-binary in some cases, because it is sometimes actually tied to nature. At other points, it can be a belief. It really depends. You have to dig into that yourself. Just like I dug into my own to explain how I discovered mine. It's just a realisation that I don't prescribe to any sort of like gender specific thing. I wear things that aren't masculine because I like the smell. I use things that aren't masculine because I don't know, the way they feel, what they do. It really varies. And that's where I realised I was non-binary myself. So yeah, you can't really disagree with that. It's really difficult to. The post goes on, she backtalks and screams at us all the time. She says she doesn't care about me. Yeah, I can see why. Because you just make her life miserable. That's why. That's why she doesn't care about you. You're literally denying her existence and her very being for the sake of religion. Like, you've deluded yourself into thinking that your religion takes priority over your child existing. It's not just what your child does, it's about them existing as who they are, being themselves. So of course she's not going to fucking care about you, the same way you don't care about her. It doesn't take a genius to figure this out. Fuck me. Then she goes on, I've tried everything from spanking, not so much, but now that she's 11, gentle parenting, grounding, therapy, this wording is fucking horrible. Obviously, doesn't know English. Yeah, spanking, that's literally physical abuse. Like, at most you can restrain your child, but that's only in a situation where it requires that. So, violence or attacks, meltdowns in the case of autism here. But there's no reason. There's no thing here that warrants violence. It's just fucking stupid. Like, this person has to be arrested. It has to be said. There's so much abuse here going on. It's quite obvious. As for the other things, though, gentle parenting, grounding, and therapy. I don't know what gentle parenting is. You know, just being calm, I guess, which is honestly the better way. So I can't really complain about that. But grounding, no. I think if you're grounding your child for the belief stuff, I think that's stupid. If you're grounding them for being rude or whatever, like disrespectful maybe, I don't know. In this situation, it's one of the rare cases where you're actually in the wrong as a parent, because you are disrespecting her existence, and grounding her is just going to make it worse. It just leads on to more. It piles on the weight, the pressure, and it just gets out of control. So that really doesn't surprise me. I'm just not surprised here. And what's the last thing? Therapy. I also talked about that a bit, but depending on the therapy you get, it can also be quite religiously charged, as in the therapy is literally catered towards religion rather than autistic needs, or like, it depends on what it is. Like, it's really shit. Yeah, and I continue again. We have other kids that are now copying her bad behaviour, as in yelling and not listening. She screams abuse when we say clean your room or take her phone or electronics, and tells people lies and stories, and they believe her. It seems like typical. Like, it's weird enough, it happens all the fucking time in just adult stuff and debates. It literally just sounds like your side of the story being the correct one, and in a lot of cases you need to hear both. So, yeah, it's hard to say or even how to respond to this, because it doesn't sound like the full story, if I'm being honest. Having other kids copying her, again, likely aging, but also the fact you have other kids anyway, it's ringing alarm bells if they're doing the same thing as well, because not everyone mimics the same behaviours because another is doing it. In fact, if you're siblings, I think you're more likely to just not get along. That happens. So if there's a case where they are getting along, then yeah, there may be an influence, but as far as I can tell, there isn't one here, given that the kids weren't relevant to the story until now. So the other thing, say to clean her room or take her phone or electronics, that's, yeah, the clean your room thing, that's a preference thing, and you know, I can understand it from a safety perspective, because if you have like clothes on the floor everywhere and stuff on the floor, yeah, I think every kid should have to clean it up, and it depends on their capabilities, obviously. Some are definitely not capable of it, and some will just half-ass it. But you can at least try to get it to work somehow, just for their safety. So, yeah, they do have to clean up their room, but you do also have to find a way to get it to work, so they're not constantly mad at you for asking. Fortunately, I had OCD growing up, so I didn't really leave things on the ground, necessarily. But yeah, there's not really much to say on that. But as for the taking away phone and electronics, this is a bad thing. Because you're trying to put her in a world that you used to live in, which is just abusive, hands down. You might be trying to show her the best things in life, and also... Why am I saying she? Sorry. Fucking hell, I'm an idiot. Just so overwhelmed with things at the moment. But when they are saying that they don't want their phone taken away or electronics, that's because they use them to they rely on them for entertainment and even schoolwork in some cases. Like, literally, I imagine schoolwork can take place on there because it's a bit easier and a bit more reliable. So that's why that happens. And that's why they are probably a bit more disinclined, is that the word? Or inclined not to listen. That's why. So I don't blame them for that. It is a bit shit, and I haven't been through a similar thing, but that's mainly because I had the advantages of being the older sibling in my family and also just not having as much technology. I only needed a console and a phone, and that was it. But the phone wasn't used much because it wasn't a proper smartphone, and my console had all my games. So it didn't really matter. Even though I had a laptop, I didn't do much on it either. But imagine now it's much different. So yeah, you do have that problem, and you should get kids off electronics as much as you can. But this isn't the way to do them. It's not a good way to do it by punishing them. And given that, especially in my case as well, I was using the electronics to essentially stim and get through life, it's bad to take it away. Like, every time I lose access to electronics in real life at the moment, even now, as a 28-year-old, 29 actually now, it's a struggle. I just can't cope very well because I just want to live my life as best as I can and have everything accessible to me that I need to actually get by. So taking it away, not good. Anyway, let's continue. So tell people lies and stories and they believe her. Again, this is a story thing. Like, that's what I said. There's two sides to a story. There's your non-binary child's one and your side. But the non-binary child's one is going to be important in this too, because it's something, and you can't always take it seriously, for sure. It's just a basic safety mechanism. But I'd argue that there is something missing to the story that's also not being said. And I think that's what's causing a lot of the confusion here, other than the other things. But the fact that people believe them is crazy, because if you aren't doing so many bad things, they wouldn't believe you. They wouldn't believe them. And I remember like things in my childhood, again, like father and stuff, and I don't think people would necessarily believe me about some of the things I said about it. Just how scary my father was. But yeah, like, it really depends, but sometimes people can see that. It is demonstrated, and that's that really. It's really hard to refute. And I can't really say I blame the people for being suspicious, because if you are doing abusive things like spanking or forcing therapy and not accepting them, yeah, they are going to believe the non-binary person, so the non-binary child. So yeah, next, they say, we pray all the time for her, and I feel like I'm losing her to the enemy. Yikes. Just yikes, the fact that you view the enemy. Like, what? Like, who is this enemy anyway? It's not even stated who it is. Like, it's exactly the same sort of logic that people use against Muslims, for example. Because there's a lot of people who have Islamophobia, and they like to think that it's inherently written that in Islam that they must kill whoever, like, and that's the reason that people are so panicky about it. But the reality is, it's not that simple, and essentially, the enemy doesn't really exist. It's just a case by case basis, I think. It doesn't really have any meaning or weight. So, yeah, of course, there is no fucking enemy here. And you're not really losing someone to an enemy, especially if you hang around them more. Well, that's the other thing. You can't really ignore the fact that your child will know you a lot better than the other people. So there's less reason to believe other people than there is you. So losing them to the enemy is just nonsense. It has to be proven as well. I don't really have much else to say on that. So let's continue. She used to be a well-behaved child before public school and friends who were part of the LGBTQ+. What do you mean by that? She used to be a well-behaved child before school. And friends who were part of the LGBTQ+. What? I don't know what this parent means. What are you trying to say? Like, she used to have friends who are part of LGBTQ+. Like, what? What the fuck are you on about? I can't even respond to that. It's so incoherent. I don't even know what to say to that. Let me continue. We have nothing against them. We love them and pray they know Jesus. And we don't think things like, oh, burn in hell, things like that. We just don't agree with that lifestyle. Again, major yikes, because you think this is a choice. You think lifestyle is a choice here. But it's not. Again, if you've done even remotely the amount of research or parenting that you should have done, you would have figured this out. Ask a child why they think they're bisexual, why they think they're non-binary. That's how you get to the bottom of this. There's no fucking enemy until you define who the enemy is. You demonstrate it. It's just absolute fucking absurdity. And you say you don't believe in things like, don't think things rather like burn in hell, but you do. You said it above, it's a sin. And every time there's sin mentioned, there's eternal hell for awaiting. That's always what you say. I know these types of people. They're fucking everywhere. So, that's immediately easily refuted and shows that you're lying. Great. And don't agree with the lifestyle again. It's not a fucking lifestyle. If you're born bisexual, gay, or whatever, even trans, you're born that way. Like, you can't change that. And to be specific with trans, you realise you have gender dysphoria, body dysphoria, whatever it is. So yeah, no such thing as lifestyle. But then there's a comment underneath this, which I have to respond to. Unfortunately, that's the reality of public schools. They're indoctrinating our kids. And then it cuts off, so I don't know the rest. But also, it's like condemning public schools. What the fuck? How else do you expect them to learn? Like, they might learn something better in a private school, but they're not going to be around nicer people. And I'd argue it's worse to be in a private school, because you're not going to meet nice people at all. If I hadn't gone to a public school, I wouldn't even be in the position I am now. I can respond to these sort of things. It's just absolute insanity. It's the sort of things these people build up in their heads and try to believe, and force on others as well. Just fucking nuts. It's just terrible how bad it is. But that post, yeah, it's a roller coaster. It's a disaster either way. Just really very poorly thought out and just terrible parenting, just plain and simple as that. Insight. You could see it quite obviously. And that does bother me a lot. I'm not a parent. I don't ever plan on becoming one. Even I see there's so many issues here. You're not taking accountability. You're not doing the bare minimum of parenting, just like digging into this. Because whenever I used to believe like certain things, they'd be like, hey, why do you believe that? And I'd have to answer with why I believe something. So that's how you get to the bottom of it. And I was also brought up with a Christian father. My father was Christian. So yeah, like this is obviously, it's worse parenting than what I've ever had. Which is saying something from my father's side specifically. But Jesus Christ, it is terrible. I can't believe people like this actually exist. Like, damn. I just hope the children get out of this safe, because, yeah, it just seems like a prison where they're living and who they're living with, if that matter. Also the blame on the school. Like, it's not schools teaching it. I need to actually explore that a bit. Schools themselves don't teach this, as far as I know. In the UK, I don't think they don't. I don't think they do, rather. I haven't seen evidence that they do. I didn't have it. And I'm pretty sure that people I know who work in schools don't have it. So, yeah, it's like nonsense. There's no such thing. But here's where it is actually happening. To give you the answer outright, it's happening online. It's happening in schoolyards. That's it. And you can't avoid this either, because if you try to eliminate the online aspect, it's going to be in the schoolyards. If you're eliminating the schoolyards thing, it's going to be somewhere else. It may not even be online. It'll probably be in advertisement. It'll probably be somewhere else. It could even be like a public display. You never know. There could be a lot of different things that can bring on this. Oh, I realise I'm bisexual or non-binary. Like, these things can happen. They can happen naturally as well. Like, literally sometimes I think, not saying this does happen, it didn't happen to me unfortunately, but you can have children literally asking, oh, where did this come from? Like, how did this happen that I feel attracted to boys for some reason as a boy myself? And that leads to a lot of questions, obviously. But that's how you can also figure it out, just by naturally existing and exploring your own body as well. That does happen. You can't ignore it. So, yeah, I don't have anything else to add. It's just another insane Christian parent to respond to there. So, anyway, I better move on because I've got stuff to do. So, yeah. So this is something I do. I don't know if it's healthy or not. I did hear briefly that it may be unhealthy, but I'm forced to do it. For the last month, maybe 2 months now, I've been struggling with non-stop Crohn's disease / ulcerative colitis. It's been in my system and playing me up for this long now, and it literally just reminds me of being back on my first home, which really sucks because this is when I first developed these issues. But I am so defeated by this shit that, and no help by the way, I'm just starting to get really frustrated and even damaging my own body as a result. I've literally almost developed a fissure again. Like, I haven't had that since, like, I think 2024. Just fucking absurd. I don't get it, really. But I'm developing that again because of these issues, and I'm going to the toilet so frequently with either gas or mucus, or sometimes it's like a tiny bit of shit, like fecal impaction, I think. And I just can't figure out where it's coming from. And I've tried to mitigate the issue with something called a fiber gel, which is like a fiber supplement sort of thing, but also sort of acts as a laxative. And initially it did work, but then it stopped working, which is concerning, for sure. It really annoys me because this shit is taking over my life and has caused so many fucking problems. And it took place during my relic runs of things in Final Fantasy XIV, which is not the best place to have it. Because you could be kicked from an instance for some places, you can have so many issues. Just, it plays up all the time. And it leads to this mistrust of my own body, because if I go to the toilet, pass gas or mucus is something very minor, and that's it, then I don't have any reason to trust the bowel habits I'm getting. So no. It just doesn't work. And this is creating issues. Like, it's so bad that I don't even know when to go or if I should go. Like, I'm playing the game now when I have the urge to go, but I'm not feeling anything. And I even try as far as to force it, because even if a little shit comes out, well, I don't care. I have to risk it, because at the end of the day, it's taking up all my fucking time being on the toilet, and I can't afford that. I can't do that. It's dangerous to actually risk going and there be nothing with enough. So yeah, I'm very likely damaging my own body or even killing myself, but I can't control this. I've asked for help and I haven't received said help. There's nothing happening. I'm trying to think of what else fucking is there. This shit is just getting on my nerves now. It is getting so bad. And I just want to have a day where this shit isn't bothering me. I just want to be free of this shit. It's just so annoying. I really don't understand it. I don't know, I felt like talking about this because it's an insight into Crohn's disease / ulcerative colitis. I don't really know the difference. I keep looking it up and then forgetting, and then realising that okay, there's not much difference between it. It's just, yeah, I don't know what to do. It's so fucking weird. It creates some really strange habits and issues, so I don't even know. And as I said, I have to strain so hard sometimes to get something out that it is creating another fissure. So, yeah, I'm not happy at all with this. So anyway, I think I could do with moving on, because this is annoying. So yeah, maybe poking a dead steed at this point, but I feel like mentioning it again. I just did another bunch of treasure dungeons because the mod compendium obviously requires that. The Ultimate challenge, however, you need to do that. So it's kind of like you sort of have to do it, and I decided to better plan this out. I'll do actually the latest content to basically get there to do it, and it's faster to an extent anyway. I'm not sure if it actually is faster, but I know that players are doing it and it'll take about 2 to 3 hours. It did. But this experience was almost as miserable as the first one, were it not for winning a few things this time. My biggest problem with treasure dungeons is just the RNG around portals and the fact that you cannot earn every fucking bit of loot that is in that portal. Basically the treasure dungeon itself. But what I mean by that is, if you were to do these, like farm these, there's a good chance you can just not get anything at all. I was lucky enough to get 2 things. Those were only like faceware, but I lost on one bit of faceware, and every other thing, like a minion, there's like 3 or 4 minions that spawned. Yan that actually spawned eventually, and also a bunch of furnishings which I didn't want anyway. But basically, it's rigged against me. I had no way of actually getting this fucking stuff like there because it's RNG and it's one player only. One player can get that. So we've immediately got that issue. It's like there's no incentive to actually play this because it's too RNG. The fact it all relies on that is frankly fucking stupid and absurd. It genuinely is a mystery as to how and why people like that. Genuinely do not understand it. It's just fucking crazy. But yeah, even though I'm somewhat happy with the glasses case or the faceware, I don't know, like there's no appeal to me, there's nothing in that. It's so ridiculous. I can't fucking believe how bad the RNG is in this game. And just how shitty it is in its design. Literally, the biggest fix you can add is a bad luck protection mechanic. I think World of Warcraft had these, if I'm not mistaken. Even then, you have them in Extreme Trials, and you should have them in Savage Raids. But a way to get the item that you want, that you're following for, that you maybe missed on, is very much a necessity at this point. It needs to happen, otherwise the game is going to fucking fail, because this is adding to the grind fest. The incentive to play these bits of content is just to earn the things you get, to basically trade them in. That's the incentive. It shouldn't be, oh, I got lucky today, I've got 99 on this Yan mount. Like, fuck off. It's so bad, and it does literally tell you how little the developers and even the game designer, I think it's HP anyway, literally how little they play this game and how little they test every aspect of it. It really shows. Like, yeah, you have to do your job as well, I get that. But my fucking god, if you're doing your job, don't make it a job for everyone else. Because that is ridiculous. It is, frankly, dangerous and absurd. I think it's just callousness too, has to be said. It's unfortunate because I would want a more beneficial outcome here, but yeah, I have to say it for what it is. It's a slogfest, it's grindy as fuck, and it doesn't need to be. I genuinely do not understand it. I literally look at this game, think, no, not touching that. And this is one of those other situations again where I immediately realised, like, yeah, I don't want to fucking touch this. Because it is shite. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants to play it. Like, it's not hard to figure out. And I just don't like the aspect that players can be toxic as fuck because they just don't like how it's executed either. It's literally de-incentivization when it comes to this stuff. I'd get putting in the effort, getting the maps as much as possible, getting the whatevers to spawn these bloody treasure dungeons. I'd get, like, stacking them, having them in my inventory and retainers. Truth be told, you can actually carry a maximum of, I think, I'm trying to map it now, about 11 I think. 11 maps in total on your entire one character, which is insane. I imagine doing that for an entire day. Like, no thanks. But if you got something for it, like an item you could trade in for the mount, or the mounts rather, because it's 2 I think, it's a fair trade. I think that's fine. And even if it took multiple days to do that and multiple mounts, it would be worth it. Far more so than any other. It really goes without saying. So yeah, I just can't wrap my head around this garbage game design, because she is that. I'm pretty sure World of Warcraft maybe suffered from a similar thing in that regard, where it just had so much garbage and bullshit. Like that, it's just, yeah, you have to be lucky to get some things. All the RNG was bad. And the thing is, I'm tired. Also, that's the other thing. I have some serious physical health issues that require me to get away from the game, but I can't because I can't trust these physical health issues. If you listen to the last topic, you'll do that. But I decided not to do it because I knew that nothing would come out, and what do you know? A few hours later, holding that in, nothing came up. So health issues still not easily solvable, which is fucking annoying. Yeah, so what else do I add? It's just unbelievable how this shit affects us and the game in general. I just don't know what to say. It is shocking that this is a thing. Shocking that a game like this can have some really beautiful parts, really well thought out parts, and then this crap. There's just no justification for it. It's frankly unacceptable, and then I often wonder about the two-way solution problem as well, for lack of a correct term, but having two ways to do something is better than one way. Objectively so, because that means that players will have a different way to obtain these items. And for people like me with the health issues, I can benefit from that quite massively, because, as you can expect, I benefit from it by virtue of having the time to play and not having time to play. So say it requires like maybe the treasure dungeons, instead of treasure dungeons you do something like expo roulette or level cap roulette. So you get an item that you can then gather over time that you can then trade in for the map. Simple. Problem solved again. Why it's not implemented, I don't know. Because I'm not exactly a game designer. I also know what I want in my games, in the games that I play. Sure, and to even give an example of a game that I barely change, just overall, Deep Rock Galactic. Yeah, the way it handles its loot system is a bit questionable for sure, with the cargo loot boxes, cargo crates, yeah. And the lost backpacks, and also just the random spawns of what are they, like seasonal stuff. But that can be questionable, and that's really my only critique of it. Other than what they call Deltarune and some difficulty modifiers, but it's fine other than that. And you compare that to something like Final Fantasy XIV, and it's like, it's night and fucking day. There's obviously one game I'd rather play over this, and that's Deep Rock Galactic. Let's say I don't enjoy Final Fantasy XIV, I do very much enjoy it, and that's why I keep playing it. But Deep Rock just is a good example of how you actually execute these systems without pissing off a bunch of players. You get the systems over time. Like you randomly come across the cargo crates, you randomly come across lost equipment, you come across event things. It really depends. And you can even turn on and off the events if you need to. Admittedly, it's not like a two-way solution, which I wish it had as well, to be fair, but I prefer a fairer system if we can't have the two-way solution. At the moment, the system isn't fair. That's why I'm complaining about this shit. If I was to go on the market board, look it up, Yan amount, okay, that's not helpful. Yan horn, I believe what it's called. Let's see, yep, 15 million gil. Don't surprise me at all, but I don't want to pay for it. It's not worth it. And then the pinky, okay, apparently there's a spark on pinky. Yeah, pinky's a 21 million gil, Jesus. That's like even more expensive somehow. Like, that's the amount I want. And yet, to get that, you need RNG fucking dungeons, and you need treasure dungeons, I mean. But you need to also have the team to do it. It's not possible, as far as I know, as a solo player. So you need a team. That's what I mean by the lack of fairness. If there was a matchmaking system, even like a treasure fucking dungeon roulette, like why not? One that you just activate in somewhere, like maybe it's just an area here or something. If you go to these like instances and you can literally go through them as if it were a dungeon or a trial, and you'd get some awesome loot and help others too. You know, that's another thing. But again, you need that system, the bad luck prevention. Again, it comes back to this. I look at these things, I go into this content, and I think I'm going to go in and come out with this. But the moment I notice that you can't come out of it, I'm just immediately thinking that where's the bad luck prevention? Where is that shit? Because this is ridiculous. Even like a tiny bit of compensation, like you're unlucky this time, here's one of 8 things for a Yan mount. Like, okay, that's how you do it. But it isn't here. So that's why I'm complaining. So I don't have anything else to say, but yeah, that's essentially the gist of this. I think I pretty much got to the point. I'm just fucking tired of this. I'm not touching it again, I don't think. This is again necessary for like the more pendium or something, whatever comes up later. I just don't see any point. It is absolutely fucking pointless and defeating. Why even try? It's just terrible. I just can't wrap my head around it. As usual. Just more tone deaf decision making. Yes it is. Don't fucking argue with me about it. Yeah. Anyway. I better move on. I better leave the game as well because I'm tired. I've got stuff to do, but I need to go to sleep. So yeah. Oh, I feel like ranting about this. Fuck me. It's been a really rough day. This is just April fucking 1st. Yeah, I can't even be joking about this shit. It's literally just mind-boggling. Sort of day I've just had. So, I won't go into specifics, but today we were just kind of trying to enjoy ourselves. It's just one of those days, you know, it's a holiday, it's something so fun to do. Morning starts okay, I get delayed by my ulcerative colitis and Crohn again, which was 4 trips this time and a 5th I tried, but it didn't come of anything. And that was hell in its own way. Then we went out for lunch. And this is where things started to go horribly wrong. So when we went out to lunch, we went to a place it's been there since childhood really. Like, I remember it since that. So it's always existed, and I've always sort of appreciated it. Like, it has some really good options there. And it's enjoyable. However, we got there somewhat early. And it turns out they weren't serving for another fucking hour. When they used to serve at normal times, like 12 o'clock. Just, what the fuck? Immediately it was like, why? So, ended up leaving, because I'm not going to wait that long. Like, fuck that. We've also got finite time, so no. Nobody wants to stay for that. So we ended up going somewhere else, or debating where to go next. And we ended up going somewhere else, somewhere we're also familiar with. Technically not part of my childhood, luckily. But it used to have some decent options. We've been there a few times actually, and that's mainly why we go. However, they for some reason changed the menu. They completely fucked it up. And the annoying thing as well, I forgot to say before this, we're also debating where to go, and it's like, well, this is my day. This is a day that I celebrate, and it is, not to sound like fucking selfish, but it is sort of important that it goes right, and you know, I was getting suggested shit things like a shop cafe, and it's like, No, because we've been there before and it's shit. In fact, nobody had even prepared for it, and I don't even know why the suggestion was there. So, yeah, like to prepare for that, by the way, the cafe, we need to bring our own cutlery. Not because they don't have it, but because they don't fucking clean it properly. So that's why, as well. Not just the fact that they do terrible food. So that's why I ended up on this other place that I got familiar with and seemed to like before. But this time it was absolute garbage for everyone. The food wasn't right, the menu changed, and there's no options for me, essentially. It just felt very fucking, like, excluding. It's the only way to describe it. So, I didn't like. In the end, very weird. Like, it's for some reason, an Indian dish mixed with a American dish. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking with that. But there was chips of it. They tasted like meat. Nobody said that they weren't vegan, so like, what am I supposed to do? I eat them anyway, but fucking hell. If that was cross-contamination, like, Jesus, someone's gonna have their fucking head on a plate, because that's fucking insane. It's dangerous. That's an allergy. But the other thing is this coleslaw they had with it. I don't know why, again, it's like American meets Indian dish, it doesn't work. But the coleslaw was absolutely fucking awful. It's the worst I've ever had in my life. Not just tasteless, but absolutely fucking gross. I've had coleslaws before I was vegan, and they were much nicer than this. And even then, vegan coleslaw is like so much nicer than even this. Just fucking crazy. It tasted of egg. And this is labelled vegan, by the way. So, don't know what the fuck the deal was with that. Genuinely confusing. So, after that, essentially decided not to stay for pudding, because there was one pudding, but given our chances, no. That's a no-go. Because that's just going to be fucking risky. And there's no point. And I wanted to get some shopping done anyway after, so we go shopping. The shopping went okay, we couldn't find some of the things that I wanted to find, that I've always find for that matter. But it annoyed me towards the end where we had, like, because I'm going with people, but this other person I'm with isn't exactly the best at planning things, obviously, hence the suggesting a shop cafe thing. But we ended up, for some reason, packing our bags like in a weird way. Well, I wouldn't do this, but they pack their bags by holding it and putting things in, which I can only get if the weight sort of weighs the other side down, but it didn't, and there was no reason to hold it and make it harder. So that took time, and then also getting it into the trolley, because we sort of shared, having mine paid for me, because it's also sort of a big day for me, big-ish day, I'd say. Just say the end of my 20s, but anyway. So that happens, I was exhausted by the end, my fucking back hurt, which is rare when I'm lifting things. It wasn't even heavy. I lift 20 kilogram dumbbells, and yet this took the life out of me, where the dumbbells wouldn't. The dumbbells would like make me pant and stuff, they wouldn't even hurt my back too much. But for some reason the shopping, no, that took me. So yeah, I made our way home and stuff, and it's generally fine on the way home. I'm also talking to a support worker about the day I had, which, yeah, I'd just rather be left alone today, and I was having a bath, trying to enjoy myself, and because it's a shit bath anyway, bathtub, it's not fit for purpose. It's hard to get comfortable in there. But I swear my fucking housemate is like watching me or something. So there's very strange fucking comments about something they're making. It's awfully convenient. I was like I was being fucking spied on. But yeah, I do have sort of trust issues anyway with people here. And really that was like a fucking cherry on top. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? I shouldn't be spied on being in a fucking bath. Are you kidding me? It's very strange. There's nobody's business what I'm doing there, like, come the fuck on. It's also a sensory relaxation, so again, I'm trying to make myself comfortable. And for some reason, he just does weird things to me. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's so strange. I've never been able to figure that out, actually. It's like, I don't know, it's just true or something. But that's it, I think, for now. But I'm also having like flare-ups again. I can feel it in my stomach, but my body can't be trusted, so I end up having to hold it in. Like, I have to go to the toilet. I've been having the want to go for about 2 or 3 hours now, and yet I know if I go, nothing will come out. So there's no fucking point. I did have my fibre gel again, so I don't know. Yeah, it's maybe one of the worst fucking days I've ever had. That was worse to come, but still, that's really a measure of something. In the end, I just feel depressed because I'm just like, what the fuck? Why? Reminds me to look at the other place I might want to go at some point. Jesus Christ, I can't believe it. It's so bad. The sort of day I just had. Why? So yeah, I don't really know to add. Hang on. I just thought it sounds like bad. Because looking at the other place I'd want to go, actually that is weird. Yeah, that is weird. Okay, the burger used to be labelled PG, but for some reason it's not. That is strange. Yeah, the other things are labelled it. That's fucking weird. What is going on with the world? Why are people changing the fucking menu? It's just ridiculous as well. You're not gonna get any fucking people going in. Especially for the alternatives, and then even then there's gonna be like people who go there for a gathering or celebration like we tried to do. And then it turns out they don't have any fucking proper options. Yeah, it's like seriously disappointing and stupid. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, things are just going fucking hopeless now. Let's try the other place. Like, this is bad. It's like a local place. So, hotel. Check the menu again because it could have always changed. It did change like last year. This seems about the same? Question mark. That's about the same, yeah. It's just good. Well, hang on. I think they have removed some things from it. What the fuck? Yeah, like, they have removed some things from it. And they changed things again. What the fuck? So weird. What is going on? I really don't understand. Anyway, I think I need to fucking move on. I'm gonna play Deep Rock Arctic. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I gotta write that down actually. Like I support workers here when it happens. For some reason the house smell of fucking horrible dog foody smell. Yeah. It's just, I don't know what happened there. Apparently someone was here before us and cooked something and just decided to cook something so fucking vile that we had to open the doors of the back of the house to actually just cope with the fucking smell. That is so fucking terrific, and I don't know if I'm going to go out there now. It's going to smell like that still, regardless. Yeah, I just lost for words today. Good God. Also, I think I've overeaten as well. I meant to snack on some chocolates after dinner. I can't. Something from the shops for dinner, and yeah, wasn't great to be honest. It's actually one of the worst dinners I think I've had in a while. Makes me a bit sick. Yeah, I better move on though. I've got things to do, and also I need to check myself. So yeah, that's what a horrible day looks like. I don't know what it is about the world, but it's starting to feel like everything is becoming shit. I might have forgotten to mention it, but there were a few things in this same bad day that happened that also had me sort of scratching my head at times. Like, where do I even start? Like, trying to think. I guess it takes place, obviously, like the meal itself, obviously serving 1 hour after I got there. It's like a bit stupid. Don't know why this meal place didn't do that. It's so weird. Strange fucking restaurant that is. It's nuts. But I don't know why they only decided to serve that. It's possible that there's like a mix up with the chef, or timing or something. But even then, it just feels so unusual. And it feels like they should have at least like done something to prevent shit like that from happening. Like, for example, I could have actually done shopping in that time and, you know, leave it in the car. It'd be fine there. No, the world has to be shit for some reason, but then we also have to have a debate about whether to go to a crappy shop cafe. Just unusual in itself. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else happened there. Parking was a bit weird in the next place we tried. And then when we were coming out, that's actually the next thing. Bunch of fucking traffic. Like, absolutely unbelievable. I've never known that road to be so built up in traffic. Turns out it's roadworks. But then we came across the next lot of traffic, going towards a supermarket where there's obviously a fuel station, a petrol station, whatever you call it. And for some reason people are buying fuel in absolute fucking mass quantities, and I don't know why, but this is a bit stupid. It's obviously a scarcity that's brought on by obviously the big corporations that are now raking in profit because people are fucking panic buying this shit. Like, Jesus Christ, just get a bike, get a fucking bicycle. Fucking lazy idiots. I don't get it. I get if you have to commute for maybe like over 20 minutes at a time. A bicycle is probably going to be your best bet in this day and age, and it's going to last you as well. You might need additional gear here and there, but it's going to be cheaper than, well, fuel. Yeah, I just find that extremely fucking mind-numbing. It's so stupid, and the fact it's like queued all the way up to, oh, where it's just like a fucking roundabout is almost queued up to there. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. It wasn't like a traffic jam. Sure, it wasn't that bad. In fact, I have been in a traffic jam once when I was going for my benefits with enough. Almost missed the appointment because it got fucking delayed by that. Yeah, it's like a massive queue up, and what should have been a 10-minute journey there took about 30 minutes. I just doubled the time because traffic wasn't moving. And weirdly enough, I have a complaint about that experiment about traffic jams, about how they're not actually sort of done on purpose or done by accident. The problem with that experiment is it's a fucking roundabout. And I think it needs to be more in depth. So you need to actually have the room for cars to actually move out. So if we're actually going to do a proper experiment, I'll do either a roundabout into 4 different roads or a sort of motorway sort of thing, but with a roundabout. I'm trying to think, how do they work? Motorway, got the going into the other lane thing, get onto a main road. Yeah, I don't know. But there has to be a better experiment. Someone has to have redone that because that experiment is pretty flawed in my opinion. With enough, I'm not even a car guy and I realise the flaw in it. It's the fact that it's a one-way road, which doesn't demonstrate anything. Because you need that room to speed up and have momentum, so you will have cases on like roundabouts and turnings where you would have cars that just smoothly move through that and you don't have to slow down, you don't have to put on your brakes unless someone obviously walks out, you have to, or drives out rather. But it's quite a bad experiment anyway, but yeah. So after that meal and the traffic, shopping was kind of a bit weird. Remember, the person I was with was like packing it so fucking slowly. Jesus Christ. In the strangest way possible, like rather than having the bag placed down on the part at the end of the till, it held it up. Like, why? It's just so mind-numbing that it's unorganised. Can't fit in the trolley because it's now no longer a sort of block sort of thing, block system. It's something else entirely and it fucking sucks. It's so bad. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I was like, Jesus Christ, this day couldn't get any worse. That happens. After that, oh yeah, that's the other thing. Like, we had another person there, but decided not to help us, which I found a bit weird. I did feel a bit betrayed in that sense as well, because it was a real fucking struggle. I'm not necessarily weak by any means, but I was fucking knocked out by the end of it. Never known my back to hurt so bad, and to be so, well, not sweaty, but still exhausted from it. And all I was doing was bending over and putting things into the shopping bag. It's kind of nuts. So yeah, the betrayal obviously doesn't help that. Just adds to that panic that the day is just real shit, and to be honest, it could just get worse from there. And I get the feeling it just kind of did as well, as it went on. So like the next thing that happened, going home, putting shopping away and stuff, I was obviously dropping off to other people, or dropping me off. So I helped with the shopping there, nothing really went wrong. Wasn't any good parking, that was the only issue. It seems to be a big problem where these people live. That fucking sucks. But the other bit was when we were leaving. My fucking god, this town is just an absolute shithole. So we're going down the road, it's like a few turnings, it's not a main road luckily, but might as well have been. Because right as we were turning, someone in a fucking mobility scooter, not like charging around the corner, but it's like only like 40, 50 feet away. It's coming down and it's like, why? And like, they're on the wrong side of the road actually, now I think about it. So yeah, they're doing something fucking dangerous. Like, Jesus Christ. I know it's a one-way road to some extent, but holy crap. It is so bad. But yeah, it's not one-way road, it's just one way because of how it's fucking designed. Done so shit. And then after that person, we pass them, there's someone on a fucking bike who can't even ride it. Like, what is going on? Literally, this person, some fucking woman, definitely overweight for that matter, it's just absolutely fucking, it's so weird. Just swerving around on this bike, obviously having no clue how to ride it. It's just so concerning. But the fact is, this is the other thing, they almost turned into us. It's like, they're swerving so fucking bad, they might as well have just jumped in front of the car. It's like, that's so bad. Why? And then later on, you get home, sort of really convenient that support workers there, but the one who'd been there before us seemed to have done something to the fucking kitchen, making a dog food smelling chicken thing, and it reeked. It's one of the most disgusting smells I think I've ever smelled since being here, and it just smelled dog food. It's not nice at all, and it can open the doors for that. It's so fucking bad. But, and then there's that trust issue thing I mentioned earlier. And what else was trying to think. I was pretty sure. Oh yeah, I was looking at like menu and stuff, and yeah, it removed the fucking vegan option, which is just bizarre. The one that's really good. I don't really get why these things are happening exactly. Just so many weird things happening at once, and it makes me realise that the world is really becoming shitty. Like every day it's like bad news, and then you see people just doing really fucked up things or just really strange things as well. Some of the people I actually saw in the shops as well, they had this guy with this cart literally filled to the fucking top. It's one of those massive carts, the trolleys rather. You know, you get the small sized ones, and you get the big ones, but then you get these giant ones depending on where you go, and this giant one was fucking filled. It's absolutely insane. I reckon the person at the register would probably have to be there for about half an hour to just fucking do that alone. So many insane people and stuff. It really is a struggle now, more than ever. It sucks. But today has been bad enough that I've literally had to find ways to cope. Like right now, I'm trying the Simpsons again, even though I don't really have much hope, to be honest, after having seen the first episode. I'll talk about that after, possibly. Damn, like, the world is going to shit. It is really bad. And also, like, I heard stuff on the news as well. There's some weird fucking thing on the radio about about the war scenes, like Starmer not making any comments about it. Trump obviously saying that apparently it'll end in 2 weeks. I don't know if that's actually an April Fool's, though. It's hard to say, given obviously it's April Fool's Day. Like end it in 2 weeks, as in what, like nuke them or what? Like, it can mean anything, and it's so fucking dangerous. If it does end in like a few weeks, and I don't know, you know, if this was about oil, why aren't they fucking going after oil? I genuinely do not understand it. And why are they going after kids, why are they going after women? It's so fucking weak-minded. It's actually insane. I don't know who the fuck these cowards are in the US Army who are doing this. Not to mention doing it for a felon, a paedophile, a rapist. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Ideas of what I'd do in the military, but yeah, like whether anyone has the balls to do that is out of the question. There's a fucking time of need at the moment. Yeah, that's the other thing in the news though. Because also there's talk about fuel and the cost of living going up as well, that's it. Apparently in April, well, all the bills are being increased, which is just fucking... Why? Like, we're already struggling enough, and guess who's not paying the bills? Like billionaires. Like, we're being affected because of their fucking actions, and yet nobody's holding them accountable for some reason. Like, gee, I wonder why. Like, how many fucking millions do you need to make to get through life or something? It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, there's so much stuff that we think we need to do as a society. You know, there's many places we need to go that we wouldn't have dared to just get fucking by. As I said, the world is getting shittier, and I think the best way to address it isn't by harming people on obviously the lower end of the spectrum or like lower class is to go for everyone that's obviously at the top in the top 1%. And that's the only solution moving forward. But it's not a pretty one, but that is, yeah, I think. Yeah, that's the other thing. That's fucking weird audio clip from this radio station. Basically showing the Australian Prime Minister's comments on this stuff about oil prices and fuel, saying that people should take public transportation a bit more. Like, yeah, but you're not going to accommodate that. There's so many fucking questions here. Because if you're going to do that, then you need to accommodate people. You need to make it accessible for people who can't afford it. And the people who can afford it need to have the fucking space to use it anyway. So there needs to be proper public transportation. And also it needs to be, again, accessible, as I said. Like, you need a quiet area, you need alternatives for people with specific issues like disability or mental health. It really varies. There's many ways to make public transportation better. I don't think the suggestion of it is going to make it inherently better itself. You definitely need some way to get people more interested in it as well. But people are again going to be forced to use it anyway because of the fucking fuel prices. So we're already going to have the influx of people just jamming themselves onto trains and subways and buses as well. It's going to get dangerous, and we'll also start to see issues in that where these things start to go wrong. Because guess what? People are using them so much, they're bound to go wrong. There's a weight distribution issue, there's more fuel being used because, see, the vehicles are struggling to keep up, which also leads to more fuel, again, creating more scarcity. They just fucking backfires every time. So I don't know, like the comments just seem a bit tone deaf and don't really sell any of the worries. As I said, like bicycle is probably one of the best solutions for the moment. Although I know, truth be told, I've been tempted to get one myself, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm quite fat and I don't really like the idea of being on that, being I'm fat. It's not that I worry about the seat bit swallowing me. Although the seats suck, I will say that. I never liked bike seats, even as a kid. Just something about them are too small, don't support me either. They spread my cheeks like, I don't know, like I'm about to shoot over everyone. And also I don't want to ride on the fucking road, like piss off for that. We were fine back in like the 2000s with people just riding on the pavement. You give way to the cyclist because the cyclist obviously is bigger and scarier. Simple as that. But for some reason now it's like, oh, you're forcing them onto the road. It seems like some sick revenge plot, at least in the UK here. Someone in the previous government, maybe the Conservatives most likely, probably got fucked over by cyclists, and that's probably why this law exists. You need to ride on the road, as if that's ever going to save anyone, let alone save fuel or anything, save money. But yeah, again, it just feels like the world's getting shittier, and I don't really know an easy way out of it, an easy solution. Yeah, just felt like ranting about that again. Well, I'll talk about this before it disappears from my brain. Naked Gun 33 rather. I forgot what the other name was. 33, the Fine Pencil, that's it. Yeah, this one's a bit weird. Gotta admit, it's a bit lackluster in areas. So, I think it starts off decently well. It's the usual stuff. Your usual sort of interest, a bit different this time, I think. Obviously, except for the car thing. There's some interesting moments in that. And I'll definitely say it's got all the humour that you'd expect. I think it's decent enough. But it has issues, obviously, as you might expect. Acting wise, it's not anything special like the others. I expect the same thing. Nothing over the top. Story wise, I'd say it's good. It's definitely an improvement over the last two, technically speaking. But I think it's still a bit lacking in some areas. I don't know, for example, the spoiler bit, but I don't want to spoil it actually. You know, there's a scene where you get this sort of, not a climax, but it's like the thing leading up to the climax. And you're just wondering, when the fuck did it get there? Like, what the hell? Like, you're questioning a lot of things here. I guess maybe it was at the beginning and I missed it, but I don't know. It's a bit weird. So I wasn't sure about that. Has to be said. And what else? The other bit is to do with characters. Like, the characters in this are not as good, in my opinion. Because obviously the last movie you got Norberg and Edward as well. But for some reason in this movie decided to sort of do away with them and go this entirely different route, which commendable. But it's not perfect, and there is an issue later on with a character called Tanya, as you'll see. A very strange fucking scene, and it feels a bit it's trending on one of the phobias, I reckon. So it was a bit shit in that sense. Didn't like that review, and then for some reason they forgot about them. It's like, okay, great. 10 out of 10. Fucking directing. That was shit though. There's bad review or bad planning out as well. This character literally had nothing to fucking do with anything. It was just so bad. So I didn't like that one bit, to be honest. You know, it's got the usual there, it's got some different characters for sure. But yeah, like I was saying, music is not really take note of. Don't really notice it, to be honest. It was a bit less musical actually this time, I noticed. So maybe it's lessened the impact of it a bit. Trying to think what else there is. I don't know what to say. I can't think. Yeah, it's like really weird. This movie, I like it, but it has those issues which are hard to ignore. And I think this one is probably the worst it's been for sexual humour. I will mention that, because I think that can be a trigger point for some people. Again, if you're looking for a comedy, it can be hard to avoid that sort of sexual humour, and it's kind of. I try to avoid it myself in my own writing, and even then it's kind of difficult because it's sort of a thing that everyone does. Yeah, don't know. So it's got a lot of that, and obviously a warning of that. There's some clever bits as well. I feel like the fucking nurses bit. That, I don't want to spoil it. It actually contains a spoiler if I was about to say it. But it's good. It's not like a severe spoiler though, technically speaking. But I did like that bit. Yeah, it's just got more of the same humour. I think one of the more edgier jokes, obviously, other than the bit that turns a bit to a phobia, is look, I can't spoil it. That's the problem. But there's a guy who's somewhere, and as she's saying, like, this place will change you, man, or something. And they said, I used to be black. I was a drummer in the Osmonds. What the fuck? What is the Osmonds anyway? Osmonds band. If it's not controversial, okay. Yeah, look like a very old band. Maybe. Hang on. No, I thought this was like a family who made music by ear and makes crap. But maybe not. Fucking. It's funny. I have to admit, even though it's edgy, it's funny. Wait, it wasn't. No, it used to be white. So no, I got the joke mixed up. Fuck. Obviously, it used to be white. That's quite funny. Um, yeah, I don't really think there's anything else to say on this. Yeah, it's just more of the same, and I will say it's a bit more disappointing in some way. Ways that it could be improved, in my opinion. Um, it's really strange. Also, I just found a cast of characters. What the hell? Yeah, I didn't realise that they're played by different characters. So, Ed was played by Alan North in Police Squad. It's a continuation of Police Squad, is it? Fuck's sake. I wish I'd watched that first. I don't know. This is why you don't make movies based on a franchise or a series. It's a bit stupid in my opinion. Peter was playing Norberg. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Police Squad. I keep misreading it. See, apparently Weird Al didn't play someone else. He played someone else actually in Naked Gun 2. But he played himself in the rest of it, which was interesting. It's got a citation, I think. It's got a C on the Wikipedia page. Queen Elizabeth plays by Jeanette Charles. Not surprising. If there's any familiar names there. Yeah, other bits here. Liam Neeson is in the 2025. That's Frank. What? Okay. I'm a bit interested now. Do sort of like Liam Neeson for the most part. I don't know if he's like controversial or anything, so excuse me on that front. I've always sort of been unsure about actors anyway. It's like not a big deal to me, but I do appreciate some of the styles and obviously what they put into it. Believe it or not, one of my favourite actors is actually is Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's fucking amazing in them. Even though he's not obviously doing any overacting, he can do it though. I've heard him a few times, and there's definitely a movie I want to watch called Junior. I heard it through the Yomp podcast, and it sounds like a fucking good laugh, and also just an interesting insight on feminism and stuff, and obviously pregnancy that involves that. And it also seems a bit progressive as well. I don't know when it came out though. Yeah, that's Naked Gun 33. It's just more of the same. And I'm very curious to see what Naked Gun 2025 is like. It does leave me interested, given it's quite recent and a different actor. So like that. Actually, excuse me on that. Like, is Leslie Nielsen still alive? Died 2010. Oh, damn, it's sad. He plays it well. He died at age 84. It's not bad. Fucking hell. Hopefully it's just like a aging death. Yeah, death admitted to hospital. Died at sleep from pneumonia. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see obviously, I think it's a reboot. It's a new one. So, yeah, I'll see about that in time, I guess. So, yeah, do recommend it. It's obviously up to you. It's recommended as a comedy, not a story or a crime drama thing. It's got so many good jokes. I promise you'll laugh in this a few times. There's always something in there. And also, I forgot about this. It's home to some fucking memes. There's two of them that I recognise. I forgot what the first one was. I think it's in the police station, but the other one, yeah, it is pretty fucking good. I love that part. It's pretty funny. Fucking facepalm. Anyway, I'll move on. That's it. I will find you, and I will review him with you. Fuck's sake. I had that planned out, but I've already screwed it up. So yeah, I just finished Naked Gun 2025. And I've got some things to say. I also forgot to write the written review actually. So that's the first thing, obviously. I need to do that quick. I went back and did some reading as well because I was kind of curious about what's going on here, and I wrote a review, but yeah, I've got some things to say about this movie. I think it's very incomplete. It has to be said. I think I can see why there's a lot of negative reviews, because it started out really strong, like surprisingly almost as good as the other movies, but I feel like it's let down by obviously what we learn later and also the storylines that come with this. Yeah, it's just a bit strange overall. And unfortunately I have to spoil it. So even though it just seems to avoid a lot of the more controversial talking points, which is good I suppose, except for one, it does go into the romantic aspect almost immediately, and there's some really fucking good humour here, I'm not even joking. Like, the claw machine bit is fucking clever. What else? Like, it's so much like Naked Gun, it's literally the same thing. Obviously a different time now and a different story, different characters as well, and that's the other thing. Liam Neeson is playing Frank Jr., not surprising, although I would say that Liam Neeson, and I have to go into this because I find this very strange, is a controversial figure as far as it comes. So he supposedly had a controversy in 2018, that was the year 2018, during the Me Too movement, where he called it a witch hunt. I don't know if he said anything else on it, because he just said it's a witch hunt, and yeah. I have to say it is a witch hunt, but it's with good cause and good reason, which I don't think he exactly understood. So there is that issue there, obviously. And I don't know if it's actually a good thing or not, really, to say that without, again, a follow-up. But that's already controversial enough, and then these other things, which are almost just fucking crazy. Just, it shows how tone-deaf celebrities can get, and actors for that matter, when they get enough attention and money that they don't have to give a shit. They can literally just do anything they want, and then a movie like this comes along, gets the guy in, doesn't even give a shit that he said all these things, but the next things are quite bad. They're pretty bad. So one of them was to do with a case where I think someone in his neighbourhood was raped, I think. So a black person apparently. And he was like apparently shouting, trying to find a fucking black person in a black neighbourhood to fucking beat up because one of them raped someone. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Is this how stupid these people are? It is actually insane to me. God, I know how fucking Charlie feels now when he reacts to this stuff. It wouldn't surprise me if he has a video on it. But Jesus Christ, like, it doesn't matter if they're fucking black. And apparently he tried to retract it by saying that, but it's not really justified in all honesty. You know, if I found out that, and I do find out by the way, that black people commit crimes a lot. I have found this in just various stories and past and stuff. I don't focus on the fact that they're black, I just focus on the fact that they did a crime. And that's it. That's where you leave it. So it's just absolutely unwarranted the way that obviously Liam Neeson reacted to this. And then basically tried to retract it by not just saying that stuff, but also when he was like confronted about bigotry and racism and toxic masculinity, he tried to deny it, I think. So he went through a bunch of therapy and stuff, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. Well, this is what enables people. It's when they get acting roles like this that are pretty big, to be honest. and there's no repercussions for it. You know, it's not like their career is actually going down the sink. It's just there's nothing done about it. I don't know what to say exactly. It's just fucking horrible. The fact that this can happen. And in my opinion, it's hard to say which one's worse because they're both equally as bad. The Me Too movement was horrific in its own way. It definitely affected things that I used to be into. Like, you also got still I'm still into them, but yeah, it's not the same about those members, but at the same time, I think they deserved what they got. So, and yeah, there are other areas I can't remember which. So, yeah, I didn't leave here to get fucking Me Too'd. Not on the same premises as other ones, but pretty much a case of like bullying and harassing. Like, I remember a few of those, but anyway. Back to the movie though, and yeah, it's got some great humour, as I said. So some really funny parts. I like the bit with when they're sort of kneeling in front of a picture of their fathers. It's just Frank Jr. at first, and then you get a pan shot of everyone else with their fucking fathers. Like Ed was there, so obviously in the picture. The Bugs was just completely put under the rug. I don't know why actually. I found that a bit strange. As I get that OJ is obviously a very controversial fucking actor, and this sort of probably is the reason why they did that. Why they sort of glossed over it. But the guy had no involvement in this, I don't think, in this movie from what I could tell. So, essentially Nordberg's son, supposedly, is just like there. He's there, but he's not doing anything. I think that's fair enough, to be honest. Also, I think with also like the Liam Neeson stuff, maybe for the best as well, maybe for the worst. I don't actually know what to say here. But there are like black actors in this, so I don't know. It's very strange. But still, that joke was definitely good as a gag, rather. So what else is there? Trying to think. I can't remember much else, but there is like a accident, the claw machine bit comes up. The guy had been killed and his wife is still alive, and the wife is very hot apparently. And you can probably see where it's going from there. So yeah, that happens. Then what happens after that? Trying to think. Yeah, I think actually Frank Jr. goes to a meeting place for this new stuff. I think it's Eden something, Edenverse, maybe. I think it's called that. Then offers a Final Fantasy raid. Oh boy. It's basically about green energy, which is also where the weirdness of the story comes up, and what I think is one of the most controversial points. Because it's sort of like a green empire, essentially, and that's sort of what they say, I think. And it's about this guy who's obviously corrupt and is making some device to take over the world and refresh it, essentially. It's like green terrorism, essentially. And yeah, it's not the best executed story, in all honesty. I think they could have done a lot better with that. It's kind of lazy because they've made this point about electric cars and then made it do goofy things. There's also a funny scene with the cloth. It's a good twist on the cliche. Again, I really like the humour in this. It's just a shame that it's such a letdown of a movie. I wouldn't say it's bad, it's just okay. Just to make that clear. It's an okay movie. And then what else is there? I think my mind's blanking. It's more like progression of the story, more with Beth Davenport, and also this other Davenport, I forgot his name. But there's someone Davenport who got killed in this car accident, hence the claw machine thing. Obviously Beth's now a widow, so she's free, and she's a hot lady that Frank falls in love with. Yeah, still got that shit in it. it's quite cringe, really, in all honesty. And there are a lot of jokes about how all the men are better, which I just don't know. Like, is it really necessary? It's just fucking weird and creepy and almost fetishises them. And that reminds me, there's also a weird problem in this movie with it infantilizing itself. And I don't know why the fuck it did this. Like, what is the age rating? I need to look. It could go on 2025 age rating. Don't be a 12, don't be a 12, don't be a 12. PG-13, fuck's sake. Why? It's a 13. Fucking hell, I just want to tear my eyes out right now. Fucking, what a joke. I swear that the other three were at least 15, 18 at most, because there were definitely boobs in that. There were actually quite a few boobs, actually. But why they made this at 13 is a fucking mystery. Like, Jesus Christ. It's horrific. But they dumb it down with, like, saying, oh, she's got a nice butt. Like, why not ass? Why not anything else? Like, you could just say anything else, but it's so fucking infantilizing. You could say buttocks, which is better. It's more formal and it's just funnier. My god. It really felt like I was watching a movie for kids at some points, because it is that bad. And some of the other dialogue was definitely questionable too in some areas. I can't remember what it was exactly. But my fucking god, it is unbearable how bad some of it is. And that is definitely one of the other letdowns, which I almost forgot about. I might actually add that to the review. I do that now. Yeah, what else? The story progresses and stuff, and there's more stuff going on. So find out more about the plan. The security guard. There's also this really interesting scene with security guard for the guy. I can't remember his name. I'm really bad with names. For the evil Green Empire guy. But he gets kidnapped by Frank. Let me write a bit. What's the dialogue? Vandalised a bit. Yeah, so he gets kidnapped by Frank and taken somewhere to be interrogated. And this is after Frank is sort of being relieved from the force to an extent, like sort of told not to get involved. And he gets involved anyway, as you can expect. Classic Frank. And what happens after is he takes this guy there, security guard, and tries to find out more, because that's sort of the crucial story point. And I recognise this scene from a YouTube short, because it was posted a few months ago, I think. It's like, how many plot twists do you want in your scene? And this scene is fucking brilliant. It's pretty clever and it's pretty funny. But basically, what happens is there's a bunch of plot twists in this, not plot twists, but twists in this scene. And it's just revealed that Frank is doing this by interrogating him, and he says, like, did you get that? And someone says, like, got it. And the walls fall down. It's literally fucking an interrogation. Then the person who was there, the lady, sort of asks him a bunch of questions, and then he sort of admits to something Frank does. And she says, like, did you get that? Loud and unclear? I can't remember the lines, actually. I do mix it up a bit. And then the next set of walls fucking fall down. It's just really funny, and then, as if that wasn't enough, there was a third one. And then somehow Frank gets her to confess to something, and then the next set of walls go down. It's really good. I recommend watching that scene. It's just, yeah, that's cinema. It's fucking great. Yeah, after that, it's just more to do with, like, the plan and executing, stopping rather this plan from going through. There is a romantic scene which I found kind of funny. Is like Beth and, I forgot his name, Frank. Don't know why I forgot that. But Beth and Frank are basically hanging out, and obviously enjoying life, trying to be romantic and stuff, and like a little getaway. And they decide to practice fucking magic, a book of spells and rituals, and summon somehow life into the snowman outside. They put life into it, and it starts fucking hanging out with them. It's so funny. And there's this entire sequence with the snowman just being jealous of their relationship and trying to fucking kill it. It's really good. Again, humour is just on point here. For most of it anyway. I'd say everything lands, but most of it. And yeah, there was that scene with that evil guy sort of talking about his party in his club and how I think Black Eyed Peas said something. So like, be retarded or something. I can't remember what it said exactly. It's like, what the hell? Like, it's just so strange to even bring that up, and I don't even know what that's a reference to, if it is. But it just felt very unnecessary as a bit of dialogue. Like, what the fuck? You have plenty of other good things to say. They talk about Fergie and I forgot the other one, but someone. Yeah, it just felt very strange and off to me. It's just not very well fleshed out in that part. Eventually the story progresses, and yeah, I can imagine a lot of things. It also brings up the car scene where Frank is essentially kidnapped by the car because it's electric and stuff, and tries to break free, and then the glass thing and stuff. There's a lot of great scenes in this. Yeah, sort of get to the end, there's like an MMA match, there's a bit of nudity, but it's not full nudity. And I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't make this more funny. It's just like, described it as a bratwurst, but yeah, there wasn't really much stuff going on here, anything of note. That's from what I could tell anyway. But yeah, like that's leads up to the ending to an extent, like the bad guy trying to get away and he doesn't. Also, this bit with Daddy, like what the fuck? I swear whoever was making this was high. It has to be said. The fact that Frank thinks this owl thing is his daddy, and then having the owl lift him, take out these fucking guys on a fucking bike chase, and then the final guy is just, what the hell? I appreciate that they don't take things seriously, but I don't know. That scene was a bit strange to me. Just felt like, I don't know what you call it actually. I guess it is sort of infantilising to an extent. It just did feel a bit infantilised. Yeah, there's also a great bit, I forgot about this at the beginning, where he says like, you're guilty of manslaughter, and the criminal has to correct him, you mean manslaughter. Just, yeah. Again, like, I think it's 9 out of 10 for humour. It has to be said. But again, it's sort of disappointing in other areas. Yeah, towards the end, we got the weirdest or fastest ending that there is. I do find that very strange. There isn't any sort of like a victory speech like Frank does in the other movies, but yeah, there's not really a great climax here in my opinion. And the credits are just as weird. It felt very fucking off-putting, again infantilising as well. It did genuinely feel like it was made for kids, and I don't really understand why they did that. I don't think a Naked Gun movie is really for kids anyway. It should be for the audience that the originals were intended for, in my opinion. Yeah, so strange, this. Yeah, like what else is there to talk about? Like, the acting is okay, obviously actors, well, Liam mainly. Might be a bit controversial, for sure. It's really preference if you want to risk watching it or not. Knowing a bit of a scumbag as obviously a leading role. graphically, I do sort of regret referencing Taken at the beginning there. Oh, God, that really changes things. Taken, more like racial. Was it racist? Other one. Yeah, it's also very suspicious with like the Me Too thing. I have to still mention that. That just seems very fishy to me. Almost like he's not all that innocent himself. Anyway, I don't really have anything else to add. It's a movie that I can recommend as a comedy, again, but only as a comedy this time. There's nothing else that really makes it special. And I will say as well, I forgot to mention that Liam wasn't the best role for this, I think. The best acting role, not just because of that stuff, but because of expressions and just a slapstick bit of humour in it. I'm pretty sure Leslie Nielsen, when he was acting in the original movies, I'm pretty sure he had to play a part to play in it where he directed parts of it and made it what it is. Actually shaped the movie into what it became and the series as a whole. But it feels like here there wasn't really anything like that. There's no like intervening sort of thing. Didn't change the humour, but it did. No, it did sort of feel off. And the other thing is like the expression. I'll explain that. I feel like Liam's expressions are quite limited because of his faculty, or not faculties, not what I say. Just his build. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Because I think, in terms of expressions, Leslie was definitely good at this. He had a sort of like Mr. Bean, sort of slapstick bunch of moments as himself, and that made it unique. I definitely got Mr. Bean vibes from him, which is weird, but Liam, not really. There were some moments, but not everything, and I did feel that was a bit of a letdown. Yeah, like Mr. Bean, probably one of the most legendary films there is. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I did enjoy it when I did first see it. But I did feel there was a big letdown there. Just a lack of expression. I'm not sure if that's something you can technically change or just something they didn't try. But if you're gonna play a goofball, you gotta play a fucking goofball. And Leslie did well at that. Like, genuinely. Yeah, so I think that's about it for the movie. So yeah, let's move on. So, I just got started watching The Simpsons again. And I got started watching it because of a clip on YouTube where Maggie finally speaks, and actually she does in the start of season 36 as well. But I have to say, it's not a good impression so far. I'm only 3 episodes in, and I just... it's not right. Season 34 and 35, for context, I liked. I think they were a good comeback for the show, and it's not necessarily because they're doing the same things that the classic Simpsons was doing, but actually because it was decent. It had good story, it had good humour, and it actually mattered. But they seem to have gone back on that in this series, this season. And yeah, it sort of sucks again, which is a real shame. And I'll go through like the first 3 episodes. The first one is Bart's birthday, it's called. Supposedly an AI wrote it, according to the episode itself, or Conan O'Brien, who's hosting it. It's a weird concept for an episode, but it gets into some things. There's some good humour here and there. The story itself, kind of interesting, but not really. I don't know if it is actually written by AI, but I do like the sort of climax. I think it's clever. Sort of like a tease, very random bit of it. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. So I just realised South Park didn't do a future episode until like what, like COVID. Like fucking hell, it's like over 20 years. It's insane. Anyway, yeah, I just felt like mentioning that because when they do sort of like not necessarily a future episode, this one isn't. It's just like we're transitioning into the future, but not really. It's basically, you'll see if you watch it, although I don't expect you will, it's a spoiler. Bart's 11th birthday ends up not happening after he fights the urge to blow out the candles. Upon Homer's request, also a bunch of weird things in Springfield happening, people changing. Yeah, and essentially it ends with him appearing in a cake for his 10th birthday, so basically a reset. There's also a weird bit with Conan at the end, but I don't know. It wasn't the best episode, but it was okay. I think it does a bit more than older episodes did, and obviously the modern era, the HD era. It does a bit more. That's what it's got going for it. Second episode, like, I didn't get it at first, but then it dawned on me, like, oh, actually that's kind of unique, because rather than this being like a spectacle thing that's showing quote unquote the high life and also just the bad things that rich people do, it did sort of twist it in a way where it turns out they're mooching, which I thought was really clever. Although there is this bit with like Sideshow Bob, and I just don't understand why they bothered. There's like a twist at the end, which was kind of cool. Not amazing though. But it also tried to spin a story where it tried to make it seem like rich people weren't bad. And yeah, it did sort of tackled that idea a bit and then just forgot it and ignored it. It was just a very strange episode overall. Also just some weird coincidences, I guess. In terms of humour, it didn't really have too much of it. There's some bits here and there. Trying to look, certainly some quotes in there. Yeah, also some references. They do a lot of fucking references in these episodes. It's quite obvious that the memes have made their mark, and you'll see what I mean if you ever end up watching it, but just to spoil it as well. Sideshow Bob makes a new rake, and it hits him in the groin this time, which is kind of funny. It's also the hedge meme where obviously Homer sinks into it, but Marge now can do it. Yeah, I definitely have mixed feelings about this episode, and I think it was okay, but not great. It's just very strange, and actually no, I did rate it a shit episode, what am I saying? There isn't much going on in it. Some weird references, it also didn't feel like it was trying to glamorise the rich life, and I didn't like that. Even though, again, it's showing them as being bad, but also not too bad. It's weird, like, juxtapositions, I guess is what you call them. Yeah, I was also staying there in reference to something else, I can't remember what it was. Very strange. As I said, shit. I won't say it's the worst episode, but it's still bad. And then the third episode. Desperately Seeking... I can't read the title there, Lisa, is that saying? So it's weird how the cover art is... oh wait, maybe it's something else actually. Oh, never mind. Yeah, this episode is weird. I just find it a bit strange at first, like some funny moments to start with, but also just gets a bit annoying and shows a bit of a reference, and then I thought they were going to follow up on something there with basically something we saw in an early future episode, which is like this mention of like a pride march, but yeah, if anyone isn't aware, there was a future episode of The Simpsons where there's a montage of, or maybe it's a couch gag, I can't remember actually. It's like a montage of all of Lisa's partners throughout the years, and also Bart's when he had them. And yeah, Lisa apparently had a girlfriend at some point, which is interesting. I still remember that because it's like one of the most surprising reveals about the series. It's not really ever been mentioned, I don't think, again since that point. But anyway, this episode though is very weird. It's sort of glamorising again this sort of city life and artist life, and Lisa takes advantage of a situation. Also, I didn't have any closure on that. That's weird. Like nothing to do with Pay and Selma, who brought her here. By the way, I seem to have forgotten that. But they glamorise this artist's life, and there's a funny bit with Superintendent Chalmers and two people he's sleeping with, which is fucking insane. And it's just so strange that it's funny. He ends up having a funny climax as well. I thought that was brilliant. But the artists, as it turns out, are frauds and just used her to basically exploit her for money or something, or get some money from an old lady. It's quite fucking weird, but it's a great twist, in my opinion. I thought it was clever. And then it has some of the best animation I've seen in this series, hands down. And best background art. It's like 3D shots, there's really artistic styles, it's actually really good. I was genuinely surprised by it. And that definitely, along with some of the humour, and obviously there's a bit of a story going on now. A bit of a tension as well. A bit of tension. It's obviously getting better. It has to be said that it's actually improving in this moment. So that definitely revived it for me, and it became a good episode. There are some sort of cringe moments, but I think that's mainly to do with like Lisa acting like a child, which is so fucking unusual because this isn't how she acts in The Simpsons. It's so bizarre. People say that she needs to act more like a child, but it actually does make her out of place. It's so strange. I don't really understand why they did that. It's like she's repeating a word that she learned or knows rather. Being awkward as well. I don't know. It doesn't always seem like herself in these episodes compared to obviously classic Simpsons or even just like post-classic, like season 10 onwards, maybe season 9. Yeah, it does get very strange, I think. Although, I have to say, at least there's episodes about Lisa, I just wish they weren't so much about fitting in and whatever. Even like social justice to an extent. I think Classic Simpsons had a good episode on that, obviously, with like Lisa the Simpson, I think it was called. Also, Lisa the Vegetarian is a fucking brilliant episode. She has good episodes, but sometimes they do this, and it's like, come on, do something new, please. Even though the twist in this is good, I still didn't find this episode as enjoyable as it could have been. The humour definitely needs some work as well, where it obviously has humour. Certainly some funny moments, and they saw the opportunities and took them, but still not nearly enough. And it's still considered an animation comedy, so animated comedy rather. So yeah, like first impressions of this, not positive. It's not good so far, which is concerning given the last seasons. So yeah, animation wise actually is very smooth throughout. I forgot to mention that. And there's also a really annoying song in the second episode, which doesn't make sense either. Again, they're sort of glamorising a lot of things. It's just fucking cringe. I don't know what it is with like sucking up to like millionaire, billionaire people and their lifestyles. It's so fucking bad. It just has no place, especially in a series like Simpsons, but it isn't even like a big thing. I think back to the classic Simpsons, I hate using that because the first episode addressed change and sort of criticised us as a viewer for not really liking the change. That's essentially what it's about, if you hadn't guessed it. But sometimes these things are good for a reason, the older episodes, and you have to realise that they had a format and a style that actually worked and has people looking back at it with absolute joy and laughter and also respect. Whereas if you were to show people an episode of modern Simpsons, an episode of post season 20 or even post season 34, I guarantee you won't get the same amount of enjoyment from these people than a classic episode, and that's even just basing it off the story and the comedy itself. And where I've obviously had some criticisms is I think that they should have at least made changes to the show, like if season 37 is how it first appeared in the clips, or the clip rather that I saw, then it'd be great if they actually had progress and we saw the Simpsons growing up. Like maybe they took inspiration from the King of the Hill updated series, like they literally brought it back. Speaking of which, I need to put that on my list of things to watch. I did like King of the Hill, it's definitely good. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it sort of ages and also how the episodes are now. Because obviously everyone's a bit older in this, which is a great twist. It's sort of showing the world that maybe your shows need to grow up, if it is any good though. It really depends, and it'd be a bit weird and awkward as well, like depending on, the context. Like it's a bit weird to maybe see like, I don't know, like Bart or Lisa for example, just suddenly growing up and like they're 18 years old now and they're already talking about whatever, like adult topics. It's like, yeah, there's a bit of a culture shock I guess, but I think even then it could still be good despite that. I could be wrong. Yeah, definitely Simpsons not what it used to be. They used to be with it and they changed what it was. Oh, damn it, I'm crying the old episodes again. Yeah, honestly just avoid it for the moment. I'll give my season review towards the end, but damn, what a disappointment. To come from a good comeback to this is just bizarre. Yeah, anyway, let's move on. So, hopefully I don't shit myself, and it's under my eyes. I'm having bad bowel problems again. Just really annoying. Should close the blinds a bit, there we go. I'll do it. Yeah, this situation is weird. Because it's not about Barbie Dreamfest, even though it sort of relates to it. But it's about how Charlie reacted to it, obviously most critical, for anyone unaware. And I have some questions, because the way he presented it obviously is through reaction. And there was like this place there that served cookies, and they are, according to Charlie's research, gluten-free and vegan. And he's saying like, don't surprise me, or something like that. He said something weird as a sort of off comment. And I just feel like that's really kind of tone deaf, in my opinion. Like, it is strange to have that reaction, because if you had actually done the research and actually knew what, or why rather, people obviously became vegan or gluten-free, you would actually understand why they're there. And it's just crazy to me that people can just ignore this and go about their day thinking like, obviously I'm a non-vegan and I don't need to care. But you fucking do need to care, because there's so many issues around animal agriculture. Like, just endless amounts of issues. And we get into a scenario where it's suddenly just really ugly. It's an ugly situation. So yeah, like, what do I explain first? the gluten-free thing is something I'm not as knowledgeable about, because I know that it could be because of what's that? Celiac disease? I think it's celiac disease. But yeah, people literally have that, and it means they can't eat gluten at all. And there are also people who want to avoid it for health reasons. And that's justified, to be honest. It's really frustrating that people just don't understand this fact, and people think it's like a whole conspiracy. Literally, like, people fall this up in their head and think, everything being that way must mean it's entire like conspiracy. Like, I don't know, gluten somehow infesting our minds or something with nanobots. Like, it really fucking sucks how we got this far. It's all the same people who say that 5G causes COVID and stuff. Literally the same line. But it's obvious that it doesn't do that. Because if it was more obvious, then skeptics like me would be fucking talking about it, wouldn't we? And obviously, the coincidence factor is always a really hard thing to refute anyway, because coincidences are like that. Yeah, like, as we go through, I don't really have any comments on that. I will say though that gluten-free stuff in my experience hasn't really been great. There's only been a select few that's actually been decent. I've had gluten-free vegan donuts before, which are actually nice. They're called by Graze, I think. They're cool. You do them in the oven or even the air fryer, I think, and they turn out fucking great. Just like handmade donuts, they are just fucking great. Like, they're so good. I don't mean to promote that, but yeah. But the other thing is the comment on it being vegan. It's like, I don't know why people are surprised by that. Because if you had actually looked into it, you'd see exactly why people opt for a vegan option, especially at a place that's like this, like Barbie Universe, if you heard this. Sort of similar in that sense. I know people do like Barbie because of feminism, but it is because of feminism as well. That's why. It doesn't make sense to serve products that are essentially not vegan because it doesn't support feminism. I mean, you might be confused by that because there's a whole thing to go into, a whole ordeal, but it is actually backed up with evidence. But in animal agriculture, in order to get said products, whatever it is, milk, eggs, anything, even meat, an animal needs to undergo a process of artificial insemination, or in some cases rape. And that's a very ethical problem, because that obviously isn't nice, and it's a human basically doing bestiality. That's what artificial insemination is, that's why they call it that. So yeah, it is technically bestiality, just from the get-go, so they've already got that problem, and they're exploiting the female reproductive organs of these animals so that they can obviously give birth to more. And for those who don't know, you need to be pregnant to produce milk. And that applies to pretty much every animal, I think. So, there's already those problems. But as if it couldn't get any worse, there are worse problems as well. So after that, usually if they're born male, if these babies are born male, they will get taken away, regardless of who they are, whether it's a chicken, whether it's a cow, it doesn't fucking matter. They'll just be taken away because they're not profitable by the industry. They're seen as a waste product, and again, this is what I say, it's based in evidence. You can look at the industry practices, the law, and it pretty much supports this. So it's like 100% legal. And there isn't a way to make it illegal because it would ruin their profits, obviously. That's why they don't do that. So yeah, it's all sorts of fucked, and oftentimes the boys will be killed. just goes without saying. But the other thing that's also in writing as well, kind of, is that they do selective breeding and they get specifically the largest sort of producers in that species of animal. So when there's a cow that performs better than others, so more milk than say another one, they'll choose the cow with the more milk to give birth and to create milk. So they are artificially bred for that. So they actually end up producing more and then suffering more as a result. Again, exploiting female reproductive organs and again these other organs, the milk and obviously I forgot what they're called, artists, that's it, or nipples in other cases. But it's just so fucking dystopian. So this is why things are more vegan now than they ever were. It 100% is on the side of feminism to be vegan, and that's why people do it. It's not the only reason, sure, but there are many reasons why. And to criticise it for being vegan is essentially saying you're against feminism in another way. And also, like, I suppose in other ways I realise as well, because there's also evidence that in animal agriculture, they pump sewage into poorer communities, which is often black neighbourhoods, and much like the data centre shit, they do that as well. It's just, yeah, that's real fucking evil, and that does mean it's sort of classist and racist as well. So yeah, animal products do so many bad things. And it's like compared to, they also do deforestation, I have to mention that, but also compared to something like vegan products, because let's be fair here, they're not always ethical themselves. Like the cocoa industry is still a bit corrupt. All of it is, as if the milk runs weren't bad enough as they are. They've also got that on them. But you've also got like the crops as well. Like depending on where the crops are grown, you've got air miles in there, you've got deforestation as well, because they have to grow that for the animals usually, but for vegan products they can essentially just deforest places. It's so evil. And this is why people end up converting to veganism, because it is literally the only ethical belief. It's the only one that actually ascribes to a strong sense of morality, where others don't. Non-veganism doesn't. It feels like a joke sometimes, because literally non-vegan shit is just so evil, and it's also killing our health. That's the other thing. So it's just absolutely absurd, and then people find whatever fucking excuse they can find and pull out their arse to refute any case against a vegan lifestyle, which is just so evil and corrupt, just inherently so. Because you're not even trying, you're just finding an excuse to find a good thing to say about your bad habit. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, I just want to be negative about these things, but Jesus Christ. Humanity literally is a waste of fucking space at this point. Especially with things like that, and you do get misanthropic because you realise that people are incredibly stupid and selfish, and this adds to that. This is why you see a lot of people who are angry when they're vegan or even quoted as that. It's why people just get so annoyed by it. It's essentially the entire reason. Yeah. So anyway, I think I better move on because there's so much to say on this, but yeah, hopefully people understand, that's why. But as with everything else, I'm willing to be proven wrong. In fact, there was a point in time where I was willing to make a bounty for being able to prove that veganism cannot be an ethical stance, along with like climate change as a bounty as well, along with health, morality, all these sorts of things. But yeah, there was like a point in time where I was considering putting a bounty up for it and getting people involved to actually think for once, to actually do the research for once, when many do not. And that's why a lot of these debates often fail, end up with the either both sides not agreeing or one side just completely dominating, which is obviously the vegan side usually. Sometimes they lose, but it's very rare. Yeah, anyway, let's move on. Well, first impressions of Pokemon Platinum, because I started it, I'd say a month or so ago, and also started a year ago, but I didn't get to playing it because I just had so many things going on, and obviously my mental health was taking a toll, so I couldn't really focus. And then I found a way to incorporate it into my lifestyle, and that was on the treadmill. It's a Pokemon game, so you know I could just hold it wherever I go. But I've got some things to say about Pokemon Platinum, and they're not nice things. So yeah, if you don't like hearing your favourite game be criticised, then step away, because you'll begin getting fucking mad. So it's interesting to start with. I barely remember it because I did this so long ago. I picked Ginger. There isn't much of a story from what I can remember. Controls a bit janky, I will say, even with the correct controller, I will say. But it's a bit weird in areas. But certainly the interface design is not great in itself. I hate how whenever you go into the game, it seems to give you a story or like a reminder of what happens or so. I don't really need that. I sort of wish I did read it, because upon reflection now, yeah, it would have been useful to have read that and remembered what happened. But even then, I mean, there's not much that happened, so it's kind of like But then I got stuck on the city after capturing quite a few different Pokemon on the routes that you start in. I got stuck in that first city. I forgot what the name was, but I found to make a cover of that as well. That was because there's no direction. This is like one of the first issues with the game. There's like no objective system, there's nothing to follow. You can't keep track of everything, so it just ends up being a bit kind of shit, because you can't understand where you're going, what you're doing. So I don't like that. That was confusing. Then what else was there? I guess the map is a bit shit. It's not an actual map, it's just a sort of overview. And then you have to figure out how to get a Poketch, which I was confused about at first. Because the Poketch thing, I don't remember it from the anime, but the anime did eventually reference it. I remember watching the episode only a few weeks ago. It's on Pokemon Twitch TV. And yeah, I don't see the point in it. To be honest, I'll wait and see if there's anything. I will interact with it at some point, but at the moment I don't think. But there is like an issue I'll bring up after this, actually. After you get the Poketch, though, it's like you have to talk to 3 clowns basically. I struggled to find where to get that fucking thing and where to go. It took me quite a while, and I had to look it up in the end, I think. I found the NPC though, and that sort of explained it. I was kind of like, oh, well, one of, 20 NPCs here will tell me that? It's like, what the fuck are you doing? That is stupid. That is terrible game design. How do you expect someone, especially a fucking child, to navigate that? Even if I can't navigate that, it makes no sense. Someone clearly didn't test it, that's another thing there. Another fucking game untested. So that was weird. And also just requires a really good memory, which, depending on who you are, it's going to vary. So even if you could remember to get a Poketch, it isn't exactly obvious. Then once I got that, I was allowed to pass and get through the city, get out of it, into the caves, and obviously I found some stuff in the caves, I think. Also trainers to bound. And yeah, like, this is the first issue with it, really. With the proper battling stuff there. You do end up with this scenario where you have to have like a Pokemon in front so they get XP, and that's the tip I found a while ago when I first started, I think. But I don't really like it because it's basically a pseudo share XP system, and I saw people always complain about the shared XP in later Pokemon games for some reason, where I could sort of understand for hardcore players or even just older players. They might miss that system and you can turn it off, but even then, even though you can turn it off, people still complain about it, which confuses the fuck out of me, because it's like, you said you didn't want this. You could turn it off. So why aren't you? That's sort of the question. It's just a bit stupid. And I do miss shared XP, because admittedly that was like one of the coolest things in that. The fact you didn't have to worry about leveling each one individually or just switching out a Pokemon and just, you know, gung ho. That was better. I mean, shared XP was better than that. Because there's less steps, less risk, and it's just more comforting, really. And even though shared XP technically is more favourable towards the first Pokemon you use, people still don't like it for some reason. Which again confuses me. Like, what? It's fucking weird and absurd. I can't wrap my head around that logic. So, after that, it seemed like everyone was going fine. I was to get into the city and gym leaders there, but I didn't do it yet. I wanted to explore to get XP and stuff to make sure I was ready. As I imagine there'd be about a few levels above my Chimchar now. Chimcham? The fuck was the next evolution? I can't remember. But the next one anyway. And I decided to grab some stuff, some items and XP from the caves. Also I bought some Pokeballs as well, just in case I did find some Pokemon. Not great ones though. I wish I knew about Onyx sooner, because I got a Geodude and sort of like, not sure about Geodude, but Onyx is kinda cool. But sadly I didn't get the Onyx, so the first one I encountered ever. Could catch it. Second one accidentally killed him, KO'd him. I should say code him. I don't know. So that was a bit weird to me. Again, weird systems and jank. What's the other thing? Like, yeah, I've explored the caves. I barely leveled up anything. My Bidoof and Shinx, I think, were about level 6 and 5 before going there. I caught a Zubat, a Geodude, and a Psyduck or something. It was level 4, I think. Also encountered an Abra before that. I remember now, and obviously got away. Wasted my Pokeball. Thanks. Damn Abras. I wish there was a way you can actually stop them from teleporting. Gotta be so annoying if you're a shiny hunter that fucking appears and they're like, oh, I don't have Master Ball. Like, rip. That sucks. That's why I don't do shiny hunting anyway. It's rigged against you. It's fucking bullshit. And there's no point. I'd just rather mod them in. Fuck it. Take the L. Yeah, it's a bit dumb. But I only ended up with a level 9 Bidoof, a level 9 Shinx, and a level 6 Psyduck still. From all this farming in the cave, like talking about 10, 15 Geodudes or something. And also a few Zubats and Onyxes. But like no progress, and it felt shit when I got into the gym because I was realising, okay, these guys have like level 9 Geodudes and stuff, and I think one of them had an Onyx actually. But then you get to the gym leader, it's level 12, 14 and 50. Which made me a bit sort of panicky, but luckily my Chimchar had, or Jimmy whatever, had a Mach Punch, so that was easy enough to address. But even then it's like, it's so nerve wracking to have that. Even though it's easy enough to do with just my starter, it wasn't optimal. I didn't really like that aspect of it. It's kind of shit, to be honest. And the fact I couldn't even get my Pokemon to be good enough, like I let Bidoof get KO'd because I wanted to save my starter for the worst possible outcome. I didn't know what the final Pokemon would be for the gym leader, Rock rather. So I essentially had some sacrifices and yeah, sort of ended up with that, sadly. But I'm not that impressed. Even then, the reward isn't great. It's like just a few thousand $dollars. It's just better enough for like 10 Pokeballs. Just kind of shit. So I'd rather just stock up on Pokeballs and antidotes, maybe antidotes, I don't know, not just potions. I'm not really fussed about curing Pokemon from a meta perspective, because it's kind of a waste of money. Even though it will be useful later on, I'd rather save it for then, rather than here, where I'm just starting it and everything takes less damage. And I know from other Pokemon games that they start taking more damage as you go along, or something. It's sort of a difficulty curve. I could be wrong about that. Because obviously my history of Pokemon is like Gen 6 games onwards, until Pokemon Sword and Shield, obviously. And even then, I struggle in those to an extent, because of the lack of hand-holding and accessibility. Sun and Moon was like the best one for that, but even then it still had difficult areas, especially fucking Necrozmus? Necrozmus? Can't remember the name now. You know, some sort of name. Yeah, it's like notoriously difficult, and you needed a fucking gimmick Pokemon to beat it, which I thought was dumb. It's one of the worst parts of the game in my opinion. Could have been done a lot better. But yeah. So if it obviously beat the gym leader, and now I'm just going back to that cave to see if there's anything I can use Rock Smash with. I also hate that, the progression locks behind hidden moves like that. And also I don't like that you have to, you only get one use for TM, so I fucking hate that. It's such a bad design idea, because what if you end up finding a new Pokemon and you want to use it on them? Luckily my starter can use a Stealth Rock, but even then it feels like a waste, because I only need it for battles really. For long battles that is. Because it's only useful then, and it won't be useful like on routes and stuff. So I'm not sure where I went to use that actually, but yeah, I don't like that it's just the TM other than a HM, which should be infinite to be honest. I don't really get that. So what else is there? No, I'm just going to the cave to check if there's any rocks I could smash. I don't actually know which ones I can smash, because I thought it was just all of them at first, because I was thinking, okay, this would make item farming quite useful and more efficient, because obviously you don't have to buy it. But no, sounds like you can't smash those, and it's like, oh, great. So I'm guessing it's like the brown coloured ones instead, which kind of sucks. And I'm guessing they're not infinite or don't respawn and stuff, so yeah, it's kind of shit. It just feels like it's kind of poorly planned out in areas, but yeah. I wonder if Black and White address the issue, Black and White 2. So I do have one of them. Can't remember which one I got actually. I will try that after finishing Pokemon Platinum, if I can finish it, that is. Not sure I can, to be fair. And the Dread Cynthia as well, because I've heard a lot about her. Especially the Guard Jump. Speaking of which, I do need to find a move that addresses Dragon. I also know it's good. Still good? I don't know actually. I forgot what's good against Dragon, maybe Poison as well. I don't think Goldshot is Dragon, is he? He has to be, right? I don't know, but I'll figure that out at some point. And maybe I'll get my own. Dragon against Dragon, yes, that's a course one. I forgot about that. That's quite a tourist typing. What else? Forgot to do my... It's not my hobby thing. It's only 5 minutes. 5 minutes in, I think. Yeah, I'm just on the fence about Pokemon Platinum. That's my first thoughts on this. At this point, it's like I'd rather replay another 3DS game. Because they were goated, to be honest. They're just so good. I obviously didn't have many complaints about them. They had issues, for sure. But they're just more refined and more polished, and I can see how Brilliant Diamond and Brilliant Pearl probably failed, to be honest. There's a reason why I'm not playing that, because it actually was a fucking disaster. But I can see why that happened. Speaking of which, actually, does it have XP share? Like, I'm actually curious, like, what are the reviews? Hang on. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Brilliant. But I can't remember what their Pearl one was actually called. Brilliant Diamond and something, Shining Pearl, that's it. No. How about Metacritic score? So I wonder if it had XP share, and I'll copy and paste that actually to another DuckDuckGo shot. XP share. Let's see, XP share effects can you turn it off Pokemon brilliant damage on it? Oh, so it does have that. That's interesting. Huh. What about Metacritic score? Because I was curious about this. It didn't get scored well. User score mixed average, and critic score mixed or average. Let's see. I remember there being a lot of issues. Extremely disappointing remakes of the series. User review 8 out of 10. Not as bad as people say, however, it isn't as good of a go as Pokemon Platinum. Music goes crazy and the graphics are cute as fuck. I guess so. 1 star, but it's in Spanish. It's more Spanish. So hopefully. 7 out of 10, maybe not, it's too long. 5 out of 10. Don't buy this game and stick to the originals or just Pokemon Platinum. Doesn't explain why. That's a shit review. Like, what the fuck? Well, foreign ones, I can't read those. 9 out of 10, easily the best Pokemon game. It's like 3D and remarkably fun. Battle Tower and post-game remake style as well. Improving things like the underground, the only thing keeping it from being a 10 is there's no VGC. First one, what's VGC? I can't remember what VGC is. Oh damn it, I should remember. 3 out of 10, just how are we pretty much copy and pasting 2DS game into Unity and making it 3D and calling it a day, and selling it for $80 CAD. Didn't bother to do the features for Platinum. Oh yeah, that was it, wasn't it? The fact they were eliminating features from Platinum as well. And it's the worst game I've ever played, from graphics to whole playstyle itself. It's a great disappointment. Yeah. 2 out of 10. Let's be real about Brilliant Touch. It's lazy stuff together, cash grab games, so it's not going to deliver the same production value and charm previous remakes of the series did. Previous remakes? What? Didn't mean. Both of these games are severely underwhelming. They are the exact same as the original DS versions. The entire map is copied over from DS verbatim with no changes, so that it could fit with the chewier style. The story is still slow paced, slogfest. That is, the trainer battles are piss ass easy with absolutely no challenges, not even Synthios. A challenge anymore. Sinnoh Underground is nowhere near as fun as it was. The contest half completely half-assed, still not having much of variety of Pokemon to go into Elite 4. Getting legendaries is an absolute train wreck to do, and I've seen no Platinum content. Yeah, what's the plan on content? I'm curious. Pokemon Platinum differences, because I remember there used to be like game videos comparing them even. I'll look at Pokemon database because that seems it's a forum post. Let's see what the comment says. Differences. Moves per Pokemon that need to be transferred with trade. In Platinum. What? So, hang on. Does it mean removed though? Removed ones that need to be transferred, traded, IRC, what? I'm a bit confused by that wording. I don't know what the fuck you mean. Attainable Pokemon. Okay. That's a bit strange, to be honest. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, the review finishes with IRCA. In conclusions, I don't know what that means. I really had no clue how to pick a proper remake of a Pokemon game. Pokemon companies don't actually care about these games, and this is one of the main reasons I stopped supporting Pokemon. I'll have to go buy something that's worth more all the time, such as Need for Speed and Bound to Great. Yeah, I think that's fairly valid in some ways. More explanation than some of the others I've seen on it. Yeah, it's quite fucking weird though. As I said, I'm not with the highest first impressions of Greatest Farmer for Pokemon Platinum, and I'm definitely not sure about Brilliant Diamond either. I'm just curious, like, how do people even Nuzlocke Platinum and even keep a stable sort of way of getting XP. I generally don't understand it. It's a bit weird, I have to admit. I was struggling to figure that out, and I don't know if I should refer to online sources. It's very strange. I don't really know what to say. Like you don't even get rare candy, I don't think. I don't remember seeing one. Yeah, as far as enjoyment goes, it's not very high to be honest, and at some point, like again, what the difference is, it didn't actually say what it was. It's just like Pokemon, so that isn't really enough. What are the differences? Can someone fucking explain this? Um, an article, more Pokemon to Synodex and Platinum. Focus on guillotines, expect a distortion mode, okay. New characters to the story. Able changes such as faster surfing speed for make a better all-round experience. Platinum gets more locations, additional distortion mode, the Battle Frontier, the Battle Park has been removed. Diamond Pill is replaced with the Battle Frontier, consisting of Battle Factory, Battle Tower, Battle Castle, Battle Arcade. Crohn, to be honest, I'm not fussed about that. Platinum has a different order to its gym battles, wait, what? Okay, that's interesting. F1 roster changes makes for different battles with the same trainers. Okay, SFX changes, not fussed about that, menu and UI, countries and altered. The player's video is an extra addition to its all. So it's like, it's not even like the biggest differences. I think it just depends on how you spend your time. And to be honest, I think as a experience, I'm curious, like Pokemon and Diamond Pearl price. And yeah, who do I want? Like, Parkway or Dialga? I don't know actually. I feel like Parkway and Dialga, if I look it up, like, decide based on more, I guess. Let's see. Oh, what's the Water Dragon? Steel Dragon. Quite like that. That's a special attack on Palkia, and the same thing on Dark. They're pretty much the same stats, with some differences. Other thing, it said it has the ability to distort space as Palkia. It's described as a deity, it's said to live in a gap at spatial dimensions, as it appears in mythology. Yeah, it's weird, but almost the same thing. There's a Pokemon Cinnamon, yeah, let's go with that. It said the space between becomes more stable for every breath. While Dialga has a power to control time, it appears in a region as an ancient deity. Pokemon spoken within legend, it said that it began moving when Dialga was born. And it's about the same fucking description, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not really sure, to be honest, about that. But Dialga seems like the more accessible one, more beneficial. Yeah, it's very weird, I will admit. Then what about the price? Like, a diamond price, because I'll go a diamond, I think. It's only Amazon for some reason, not shop. 50 quid. Oh, digital codes. 45, though. Yeah, that's a bit strange. I'll be honest, Nintendo official site. $15, so it's about £45 actually. Yeah, I don't know if that's worth it, to be honest. And, you know, even later Pokemon games have lower price than that. I'm not really sure, and again, it's like this scummy thing, that's the problem. I don't like picking between two games, that's the shitty thing about this. It always warrants like cheating as well, because you just want both legendaries, it's like. So I would have said it's like all fucking bad in the 3D graphics, and Chippy style's nice. The trailers, God. This is this shot. I guess the animations are a bit awkward in there. Interesting, I think that Bidoof could help you in that. good 3D. Let's just see it. I forgot to say that actually. Oh my god. I have a problem with the animations in this. With enough, like Platinum has some weird ass fucking animations. I've got to admit. My big problem with it is it seems like they half-assed it in a lot of areas. One of the most obvious points with it was the what was it fucking called? The evolution. That's it. Like the evolution animation is an embarrassment. Also feels like a crime the way it's done. So I'm not really sure about that. But yeah, it feels very off-putting. What other areas? I guess like trainer animations and stuff are a bit strange here and there. It's not the best, I don't think. Yeah, there are like points where I just feel like it's been really half-assed, and I think people's nostalgia with this honestly takes priority over a reasonable thing like an actual remake where there is XP sharing and certainly more refined graphics and possibly quicker animations and stuff. But to be honest, I might even just switch. There's no fucking point playing this anymore. And even then, it's like, yeah, as much as I don't want to support fucking Pokemon, what choice do I have? I don't really know what to do there. That is really annoying. I could look at another review, but again, it's just, I don't know. This Pokemon Platinum is just disappointing, that's all I have to say. So yeah, anyway, let's move on. Oh, I have to do an outro. Didn't realise it's gone on for so long, but there we go. So yeah, thanks for listening. I was almost said watching, but that wouldn't have made sense, would it? Yeah, it's gone on for a while. I don't mean to have these sort of episodes with negative topics, but it feels kind of necessary given the context of some of my life and just how difficult it can be. It's unbelievable how terrible things can actually end up happening. It just annoys me. But anyway, yeah, thanks for listening. See you everyone next time.